Break ends in 5 seconds.
She was the Heisman Trophy winner in 1986. He left her off the ballot. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
I jumped it. Little known fact about me, I did win the Heisman Trophy. Couldn't tell by looking at me, but I'm quite athletic.
It was a controversial year.
It was.
Yeah, no.
Considering I was one.
I like the running back, but oh well.
Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Off to a great start here on CBS Sports Radio. We're doing better than Daniel Jones. May have jumped that open, but I didn't get sacked 11 times last night, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
You jumped that open like Devin Witherspoon jumped Daniel Jones's pass at the 3-yard line in the pick 6.
I don't know if I get 7 for this or 6, but anyway, that was thorough. That was a thorough beatdown of 2 playoff teams from a year ago, and one clearly going in one direction and another going in another direction. Now, we can start with the Seahawks, the team that I picked to win the NFC West. Not anticipating the 49ers would look this good. Yeah. But to be honest, a team that looks like it's still on the ascent. And that Russell Wilson trade just it's the gift that keeps on giving, because Witherspoon was one of the first-round picks that they used in that Russell Wilson trade. He was all over the field last night. Not to mention Noah Fant scores one of only 2 touchdowns for the Seahawks. He was part of that trade, and Drew Lock had to come in and replace Geno Smith for a drive and a half. And he was not terrible.
So it's amazing to me that the Seahawks are recreating the Legion of Boom. You never think history would repeat itself. One thing, the Legion of Boom was at a time when you could still hit guys over the middle. They had Cam Chancellor patrolling the middle at safety. I didn't think that was repeatable. But here they are with Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, and Bobby Wagner is back and looks younger somehow at linebacker.
I know.
It is.
Don't ask questions.
It was incredible. But I don't know if I'm going to judge the Seahawks off of last night, because the Giants made the Cowboys look like the Doomsday D all over again. Yep. The Giants have a knack for making other teams look amazing. What I was a little bit worried about, and why I'm not sure that I'm with you on the Seahawks winning the division, was their offense really explosive? I know Geno got hurt, and I know they didn't need to be at all. They have a good run game, and they can churn some games out. But are you really counting on Geno Smith to beat the Niners?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
But I do think that the commitment to the run game is something that always helps you throughout the season. Running backs can't get paid to save their lives, but man, are they important. And when you have Walker and you have Charbonnet, that 1-2 punch is obviously going to be, if they can stay healthy, is going to be fantastic. And then, you did see some explosives going back a couple weeks ago against the Detroit Lions. Like, it's there. It's possible. Listen, don't forget, like, the Seahawks are playing with offensive linemen who are down also. They just did a much better job of compensating for it last night than the Giants, who Daniel Jones was basically smothered all night long.
Well, the Seahawks, they got to that pick 6. They didn't really score many points.
No.
But they did churn it out with the running. It's also their line is a good run-blocking line. Yeah. It's not just the running backs. But I don't see this team. It's so hard for me because the Giants are so inept. Oh. Honestly, all the special teams penalties, Daniel Jones really not having 1 second. I just don't think this is a repeatable model. I think this was more of a judgment on the Giants last night than the Seahawks being dominant. And I said the same thing after week 1 with the Cowboys. And then the Cowboys went and blew out the Jets in week 2. And I said the same thing about the Cowboys. I just think that sometimes we see these games early in the season, and it's very confusing because a team like the Giants has no weapons. They don't have any receivers. They're not using Darren Waller. So the Seahawks were in such a good position to sort of rear back and rush Daniel Jones all night. Is that going to happen moving forward? I don't know.
Well, I'm not encouraged. And the thing is about Daniel Jones, and this is what I said from the beginning. I know we have a little bit of a new audience here, so we're getting caught up on sort of where we fall on a lot of these quarterbacks. And my thought on Daniel Jones was, who's the real guy? Is it the guy you saw the first couple years of his career who was not reliable, who didn't have the internal clock, who was always under duress, turning the ball over, fumbling, all that stuff? Or is it the guy who in a contract year, when the offense got simplified to a crazy point and they had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, is it that guy who you paid him $90 million guaranteed off of. Which one do we think this is? And now all of a sudden the schedule gets a little harder. His offensive line gets banged up. All this stuff happens, and Daniel Jones stinks. And he and Dable are on the sideline, basically having it out. Not like a major screaming match, but you could tell they were frustrated with each other. And Dable wasn't good last night either.
So what could Daniel Jones do well? He can do one thing. He can run. He can run for his life. Last night, look at his line. It's interesting. 27 for 34, 202 yards. That's not bad. I'll take 27. But every pass was 1 yard and then 2 picks and a really bad fumble, which I blame him on. You said that you weren't 100%. He was getting chased. But you got to know, just go down. You had no prayer to escape that play.
Yeah, it was kind of like he's getting chased from behind, from his blind side, if you will, and he's running away from it, and the guy got him from behind and then caused the fumble. It's like, yeah, your internal clock's got to be better, but you are also not anticipating your left tackle is going to get beat that badly. Or maybe he should have.
But he did have 10 carries for 66 yards, which is total Daniel Jones. It's 14-3 in the third quarter. They do drive down to the 4-yard line. The Giants could have made it 14-10. They had chances to get in the game. The Seahawks didn't really blow them off the field.
No.
Then there was a pick six. Now, every time there's a pick six, you blame the quarterback, of course. And everyone's blaming Daniel Jones. Devin Witherspoon, who had the pick six, said, we knew he was going to stare at his first target. You never want to hear that, especially from a rookie cornerback.
Yeah.
But the Giants receiver, Paris Campbell, did trip on the play. I just have a hunch that the receiver did something wrong.
Well, Daniel Jones did take the blame for it. Let's hear from Witherspoon. Yeah. Can we, Pete, how about cut 14, please? Witherspoon talking about Daniel Jones staring down his receiver.
We were just trusting the game plan the coach laid out for us. We knew he liked to stare down his first target. So he had his back turned. A lot of guys just win their one-on-one matchups up front, man. Shout out to our D-line. Without them, we couldn't have made the plays that we made.
When it's clinical like that, that was just the facts. Like, it comes off as a major criticism, but it was just the facts. And you have a guy who's making $40 million a year, and you have a rookie corner saying that he's staring down the receiver. Yeah. Like, you gotta be better.
He's a 22-year-old kid out of Illinois saying that your veteran quarterback is staring down a receiver. That's fair. I wonder if that's why Brian Dable got so mad at Daniel Jones. I don't blame Jones at all. What was Jones supposed to do last night? There is no time back there. He's clearly freaked out by the rush. I'm not sure any quarterback could save the situation. So I know the conversation in New York's like, what are we going to do with this guy? We're stuck with his contract. I don't know that he's the problem. Do you think he's the big problem? Could someone come in here and fix this?
Well, if not Dable, and who, is supposed to be the offensive. I know he's more like a CEO now, but how did he come up and make his bones in the league? Is like being an offensive guy who works really well with quarterbacks. Yeah. And he won Coach of the Year last year, and their team's a mess now. Can we hear from Pete Carroll on the double-digit sacks from last night?
Everybody figured in on the pass rush today, which was great. But it just reminds us that we're just getting started. We're just getting going. We're just putting it together. And a night like this for our defense to be able to play that explosively and 3 turnovers and whatever, double-digit sacks. I can't remember seeing double-digit sacks.
It's like, man, we really smoked them. We really, really smoked. As far as what do they do at quarterback, listen, this is a bed that the Giants made themselves that they have to lie in now for the next 2 years. And it was a mistake to pay Daniel Jones. And it was fool's gold of what last season was. It was an easy schedule. It set up well for them. They got the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs, who everyone by every metric said that their record was not who they were. Vikings kept winning all these one-score games, had a lot of luck. Giants went in there and beat them. And then when they faced your Philadelphia Eagles in the next round, then we really saw the difference between a great team and a not great team.
So what were they supposed to do this offseason? Not bring back Daniel Jones?
I always thought the smarter thing would have been to put Jones on the franchise tag for 1 year and try to get something done with Saquon Barkley. Now, that wouldn't have been great either. Barkley wasn't even playing last night because he's injured. But to commit to Jones, yes, it's only 2 years, but then where do you go? So now in 2 years, are you starting with a rookie? Are you trying to bring in a veteran quarterback? What's the plan?
Well, this year, what were they going to do this year? If they didn't have Jones in, they were either going to franchise tag him at $40 million a year or sign him for 2 years at $80 million. I understand their thinking. They're like, well, what are we going to do? We don't want him for 1 year. What if he blows up this year? Then we're in a really bad spot. So it's only 2 years. In quarterback time, is that so much? So they're stuck with Daniel Jones. Just run him into the ground.
Great.
This year looks like it's going bad. But next year, you could bring in a rookie. You might have a top 10 pick, and you have 1 year of Daniel Jones at $40 million. It happens. I mean, you get stuck with these contracts. That's the nature of this quarterback contract situation. I don't know. I feel it was only 2 years. I think that the Giants are going to be okay long term. Bring in a rookie either this year or next year if this is not going to work. But in the meantime, Daniel Jones can run. He can save you some games. He can win a couple games with his legs. No? Are you into that at all?
I'm not into that.
By the way, to be fair, just if you're getting to know our show, Maggie has been down on Daniel Jones. I remember last summer, she's like, the turnovers went away last year, and I remember you said to me, you're like, I don't know if those turnovers are going to go away forever. The guy fumbles, and he likes to throw interceptions, and man, you were right on that one.
Well, I appreciate that. As far as like the Giants being okay long term, where's the evidence of that? I mean, since they lost a wild card game in 2016. Since then, they won 3 games, 5 games, 4 games, 6 games, 4 games. Last year, won 9, went 9-7-1, made the playoffs, as we know, beat the Vikings, then lost to the Eagles. And now they have a losing record at starting the season at 1-3. Like, it hasn't been great for the Giants in a long time here.
Right. Well, it's the morning show now, Maggie. Nowhere to go but up. Let's look optimistic. Glass half full. Yeah, things are. Could it get worse for the Giants? That's something to look forward to. I know how it can get better.
Tell us.
There's a quarterback in Los Angeles right now. How about you just go full tank, bring in Caleb Williams?
Okay, here's the thing. We've said full tank for like 5 teams.
I know.
It's like not everyone is going to be able to do this. Yes, EJ.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's to me that should have been the situation from the get-go when Dayball and these guys got here. Maybe they got kind of lucky or maybe unlucky that Daniel Jones and this team played so well last year. But this is a team we knew had all these holes, and now they're kind of stuck in no man's land where they have a team that competed last year and probably could beat some bad teams, but we know is nowhere near the top. They got smoked by Philly last year, smoked by the Seahawks last night, smoked by the Cowboys earlier, and then smoked by the Niners. All the top teams in the NFC, Giants have no chance against. So they should have been in the tank a long time ago, and now they're stuck.
Also, I mean, it took like an epic comeback to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like it took every ounce
but why are they
come
stuck?
back against
Why are they stuck? They only have Daniel Jones for 2 years. So why not bring in a rookie? So what? You pay Daniel Jones $40 million next year. You kind of throw away 1 year, let a rookie train behind Daniel Jones. I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, Daniel Jones, by the way, went to Duke. He should be smart. I don't know why he makes so many dumb plays. Why is football smart and classroom smart so different? But this could be a great quarterback draft class. So even if you're not number one, if you don't get Caleb Williams, they're drafting a quarterback. That's going to happen. And you know Brian Daboll pretty well.
Yeah.
He helped develop Josh Allen. I think he can bring on a young guy. So what? They whiffed on Daniel Jones. It's just 2 years, Maggie. 2 years in our lives, that's nothing.
Yeah, say that to a Giants fan. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We say good morning to the Weedos and the coffee drinkers. Now, in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch the show. Of course, we say at top of the morning to our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates, who we appreciate so much. If you want to listen along on the free Odyssey app, you're welcome to download that. It's crystal clear. Also, SiriusXM channel 158. There's so many ways that you can hang with us this morning.
It's an exciting day here, too. One of us has a team in the MLB postseason.
Yeah.
Maggie,
this is the start.
EJ, Maggie will not let me talk about the Phillies. She just is
just end the season
Phillies
now. I just end the playoffs.
You're totally outmanned here, by the way. You have 3 Mets fans here. Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to hear about the Phillies. EJ,
don't even let the audience know we got 3 Mets fans in the room. We're trying to get these people to like us. Like I can't let that be our calling card.
It makes you more relatable to have a losing team like that. So Maggie came in on Monday morning just glowing from the Bills victory. We have this dynamic now. Now I find myself rooting against the Bills. I can't deal with a happy Maggie on Monday morning. That's just no good.
Yeah.
So you're rooting against the Phillies. Just admit it.
To the deepest level, to a cellular level in my body. It's not just like, on the surface, what do you think about the Phillies? They suck. No. This is like a molecular thing. All throughout head to toe, I'm rooting against the Phillies.
All right. Well,
they're easy to root against. I mean,
what's so easy? They're a completely lovable team.
Yes, but this was a team that once upon a time decided to employ Chase Utley. So forget it. You're dead to me now. He's my least favorite player of all time. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so much to do. Want to hear from you. Seahawks, does this feel like an elite team? And then for the Giants, I mean, Daniel Jones. They got no one to blame but themselves. Again, glad to be with you on the morning show. Hey, we've got a major announcement coming. You guys are going to hopefully like something about this show, which is we make bets with each other. We put things on the line. It's called stakes. We like to raise them. We don't like to just throw out things willy-nilly. If we're going to say something, we're going to stand behind it. And one of those bets is going to be paid off this week.
Ooh, which one?
You're going to find out after the break. Big bet coming. It's getting paid off this week. And it's going to be bad for Perloff. That's all I can tell you. Got more details on the other side. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
This show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it? Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. Sometimes it's a matter of talking things out so you can get a better understanding of what may be standing in your way, even if that's you.
Perloff, we've all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years, and it is not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. $30 remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie, I got to give Troy Aikman a lot of credit for the call last night. Early on in the game, he started focusing on rookie Devin Witherspoon on the Seahawks, saying how versatile he is, how many different things he can do. Devin Witherspoon proceeds to dominate the entire game, and 2 sacks for a cornerback. It feels like the Legion of Boom is back. It is unbelievable performance. A little worried about the offense. Geno Smith got injured, came back. But the Seahawks certainly look like a legitimate threat in the NFC.
Before we get to the phone calls, Pete, can we play cut number 18? This is Geno Smith on the hit that took him out of the game briefly with, what was it, a knee? Looked like an ankle, but it's more of a knee.
Yeah, but it did feel like an ankle.
Initially I really just was, kind of in shock a little bit, just from being rolled up on and having my leg pretty much trapped under the guy. And so there was, some slight pain, but overall, I was just happy that I, came out okay.
Yeah, and, thought it was a bit of a dirty play. Listen, he was definitely going out of bounds. He was clearly going out of bounds on the sideline. And, those kind of tackles now where you kind of had him on the sides of the shoulders too, not a full horse collar, but pulling him down from behind, that usually gets called in this league.
Yeah, and Geno came after the Seahawks, ran out on the field and tried to pick a fight, and then you saw how frustrated he was. I'm not sure they needed to bring him back last night. It was 14-3, and the Giants were not threatening, but I guess that's close enough, and he did look good when he came back.
Yeah, you really want to leave no doubt there. Like, Drew Lock was okay, ends up with the big touchdown to Noah Fant, where Fant really did a lot of the work there, going down the sideline.
Drew Lock had a nice 15-yard run. Drew Lock was going to win that game too, but I guess the Seahawks didn't know that at the time.
Quickly, let's go to the phones, shall we? Dan is in California. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. What do you think about the Seahawks?
Well, I'll tell you from the perspective of being a Niners fan for several decades, the Niners look to me like, I know you're not old enough to remember this, but the 88 and 89 teams back-to-back just dominant. I think they only lost 1 or 2 games each season, won back-to-back Super Bowls. And if Roger Craig won the fumble the next year, they might have had 3 in a row. They just got so many great players on defense and offense.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy has 6 or 7 lethal weapons. Just get them the ball in the open. They can go get another 15, 20 yards. So I was going to ask you, the schedule's weird because they play them twice within 3 games. They play them on Thanksgiving.
Yep, they're the nightcap on Thanksgiving.
On December 10th.
Yep.
Whereas they played the Rams the second game in the season and took care of them rather easily. But I think the Rams are improving a lot, and they play them on the last game.
Yeah, and that actually could be for a lot. We weren't sure. Dan, thank you for the phone call. It's a great idea and a great thought about, listen, the clear advantage here for San Francisco over the Seahawks is San Francisco's offense is way more explosive than Seattle. It's not that Seattle has bad receivers. Lockett, Metcalf, JSN hopefully is going to have a good rookie season. And the running backs we already talked about. But, of course, like the 49ers will beat you 100 different ways.
Yeah, and the Niners beat the Seahawks 3 times last year. The playoff game had some moments, but wasn't really that close. Yep. He has a great point. The Niners have so many star players on both sides of the ball. I know they tend to get injured, but you could go I mean, they probably have 2 of the top 5 defenders in the league in Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. And then there's 5 offensive stars. There's no team like that. Very different than the Bill Walsh Niners. That was all offense to me.
Yeah.
This team is really ferocious on defense, but it does feel dominant. And you did pick the Seahawks to win the division. I love the Seahawks. I just worry about the Niners over their shoulder.
Well, I was worried because the Niners tend to get injured, and I'm like, and Brock Purdy was coming back from this elbow injury, and what's going to go on there? But what we're learning now with the 49ers is it might not matter if guys go down here or there. I don't know about losing McCaffrey. Seems like that would be a huge blow to the offense, but there's so many other guys who can fill in the holes. I don't know if 1 or 2 injuries is going to derail this team.
No, Brock Purdy getting injured would be interesting. I still guaranteeing Sam Darnold's going to win a playoff game, and I'm gonna rub that in your face. Sam Darnold's winning a playoff game, Maggie. Get used to it.
No, I've watched so much Sam Darnold. This is not personal at all.
You haven't watched Kyle Shanahan, Sam Darnold.
The dude's a delight. I mean, he took losing very, very well, was always very classy, professional about it, but I've wasted so much of my life watching Sam Darnold in the pros. I can't do it anymore. Monty is in Calgary before we get to Andrew Bogusch and his headlines. Hey, Monty, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. What do you have for us?
I just wanted to welcome you guys to the mornings. I've been listening to the DA show on this network for the last few years up here in Canada. And I want to give you guys a shot, and I think it's going great so far. I wanted to give my take on last night's game. Being a lifelong Seahawk fan, I spent the first half and the third quarter basically laughing because to think that is an elite team, my Seahawks, is really a joke. They are not going to win the division. They are a playoff team, but as far as going anywhere, it's just not going to happen. You can't take a Giants team that is so pathetic like that and keep them in the game at 14-3 for 3/4 of the game. They should have been blown out in the first half. All of those sacks were all just paper because all you've got is a makeshift offensive line that couldn't give Daniel Jones a blink before he was sacked. It just made me laugh.
Monty.
I love the Seahawks, and I hope they do good, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Monty, thank you for the call. A sobering evaluation, but also a nice, welcome to the mornings. As we said, we love DA. We're friends with DA. We're so happy for his opportunity moving on to Sirius, and we're excited to get a chance with the aliens.
I have a bunch of friends from Calgary or who are in Calgary, former NHL guys, so love Calgary. Have not been there, but I want to go there. That is the great question about last night. Are the Seahawks that good, or was it because they were playing the Giants? I think we might need all show to figure that out because the Giants sure make other teams look good.
All right, let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got some headlines for us. Good morning, Bogusch. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you again. Headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Those Seahawks had control of Monday Night Football the way Perloff thought the Chiefs had control of Sunday Night Football. But the Seattle lead was just 14-3 late third quarter with Daniel Jones back to throw for a touchdown.
Right foot ahead of his left. Shotgun snap. Drops back 3. Line drive throw. Intercepted. It's picked up on the play. Witherspoon. The 5 on the numbers upfield. The 20. The 30. Breaks a tackle. 50. Angles to the middle. The 30. The 20. Far side 10. 5. Foot race. Touchdown. Touchdown. It's a Seattle pick 6.
It was Kevin Harlan on a Westwood 1, 97-yard pick 6 for rookie Devin Witherspoon. It was a long run, aided by some faster blockers.
We just don't get caught, but I'm really mad at Reed and J Love because they made me look slow. They can't even walk me down and made me look slow, but shout out to them for sure. But I was just trying to get to the box, man. That was an incredible moment for me. First career pick is a pick 6 on Monday Night Football, man. Just it don't get no better.
The play ended the game. Maybe it ended the Giants' season. They're 1-3 with the Dolphins and Bills coming up next. Seattle, meanwhile, is to 3-1. Witherspoon had 2 sacks to that pick 6. His team had 11 sacks while forcing 3 giveaways. The Giants less than 250 yards of offense in the 24-3 final.
Bogusch, I just want to point out one thing. The Chiefs were never losing that game on Sunday night. If Patrick Mahomes runs in at the end and they cover the spread, it's 30-20, and nobody looks and said, wow, the Jets were really close. Honestly, the Jets were just as close as the Giants last night. That was not a game on Sunday night. And I don't care what you say. I don't care. And you can't text me in the middle of the night saying that Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes and sending me analytics. Next, you're going to tell me Daniel Jones outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Just stop.
No. But Zach Wilson outplayed Daniel Jones. Zach Wilson's now the better New York quarterback.
Well, that's not saying much.
Talk about a race to the bottom. Oh, that is claim to fame there. I'm raise the banner. You're better than Daniel Jones. Whatever makes you sleep well. What else you got?
Let's swing around the rest of the NFL. Bengals head coach Zach Taylor says Joe Burrow and his calf healthy enough to continue running the offense. It's apparently a bone bruise and a muscle strain for Kenny Pickett's left leg. He has not been ruled out yet for Sunday against the Ravens. And Rams head coach Sean McVay says Matthew Stafford should be good for Sunday, despite hurting a hip last weekend. They play the Eagles this weekend. So we learned yesterday that Maggie has no time for mustaches. But what about Jimmy Butler's emo hair? Bam Adebayo tries to explain.
I mean, he's just misunderstood. He's going through, this. We all go through phases in our lives. He didn't hit the emo phase when he was 12. His emo phase is 34.
If anybody didn't see Butler by now, it was the best thing of yesterday. Straight hair, side part, a big swoop over one eye. There was a lip ring. He looked ridiculous. He looked amazing. And I guess this is what he does. Every media day, he shows up with some kind of wacky costume hairstyle. So here's Bam thinking this is Jimmy asking for help without Damian Lillard.
That's how he handles things. We all knew Jimmy was different from the moment he walked in this arena.
I mean, it was great. It was great, and he stayed in character the whole session. It was perfect.
Yes, he was emo. He was feeling it in his feelings a little bit, like a teenager. And I love that this is a reaction to not getting Dame. Like, this is how he processes his feelings of Lillard going to Milwaukee. He just I got to just get into my sadness with this hair.
Yeah, I'm down for a Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler sitcom. Bam is a straight man. All afternoon, he's just looking at Jimmy Butler. He's like, what's your deal, man? They played together for 4 years, and it feels like he doesn't understand Jimmy Butler at all.
Does that do any of us? I don't think so. The other thing I love, too, about what Jimmy did, so how do we describe this hair? It's straight and flat, like when women use flat irons on their hair. It looks like he's part of Fall Out Boy.
Andre 3000
yes,
also.
Andre 3000, something like that. Hopefully we're getting the visual. And then the other part that's great about this is whatever photos they take of you in media day is the photo that broadcasts will use throughout the year. So anytime the Heat, now we're playing on national TV, when the headshot of Jimmy Butler comes up, it's going to be this.
And he just kept delicately running his fingers through the part that came down over his face and had a head tilt to further express his sadness. It wasn't just the hairstyle. It was the entire performance.
It was pretty sweet.
The Spurs and Devin Vassell signed a 5-year, $146 million rookie extension. He is the 6th player from his 2020 first round to get one. And Ja Morant will be allowed to practice and travel with the Grizzlies while serving his 25-game suspension to start the season.
Bogus, quick question about Devin Vassell and this $145 million contract. Who is Devin Vassell?
Who is this guy?
And why are they getting $145 million?
So he's a young man. I actually saw him play at Florida State, if memory serves correct, and he did somehow average 18 points a game last year, but I guess when you're on the Spurs and we only care about the final score, so you're losing to get Wembanyama, that we miss you scoring 18 a game, but 18 a game's legit in the NBA for anybody.
That's a lot of money, though, for $145 million. I guess in the NBA it's not anymore, but that was crazy.
And it's double what Keldon Johnson gets, and he was their best player before Wembanyama, so I don't know how. But you know this better. Isn't the NBA numbers, those are basically set in stone, are they not? They're produced by formulas or whatever, so that's just what you're going to sign if you're a first-round pick from 2020, right?
Yeah, it's slotted, right, on a certain number of things. But I definitely know who Keldon Johnson was, and I was like, Vassell. Let me Google that.
Well, asking for some cash now.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe lend me $5.
Last but not least, some baseball non-playoffs for the moment. The Angels are not bringing back manager Phil Nevin after their latest disappointing season. 2 years, 30 games under 500 for Nevin this year. They were both 17 games back in the AL West and in the AL wildcard chase. We know all the drama. Shohei, Trout, another disaster, and another new manager for the Angels. I believe this will be number 4 in 6 years since Mike Scioscia stepped away. Guys, back to you.
Bogish, thank you so much for those headlines. And, the San Antonio reminded me of something. This is another bet that we have going on. This one's easy, and then I'll set up the one that's going to get paid off today. Or this week. So Perloff is so convinced that Victor Wembanyama is not going to win Rookie of the Year.
Nope.
That he said if the French windmill ends up winning Rookie of the Year, Perloff will drive to San Antonio from New York.
Right. And I will hold up a sign on the Riverwalk that says, "I am sorry, Victor Wembanyama." And I'll write it in French. Je suis désolé, Victor Wembanyama.
Wow, well, good flex there.
By the way, I'm not sure that means I'm sorry. It could mean, I want another souffle. Yeah. I don't know what it means.
It means, can I have a sandwich, Victor Wembanyama? So that is one bet, but we've got to wait a while to see if Wemby actually wins Rookie of the Year or doesn't. The bet that's going to get paid off this week, that is happening this week.
If I can interrupt, Maggie, for a second. You don't know this story. The first time I really hung out with Perloff was filling in for you one day.
Yeah.
And one of the topics was coming up with a slogan for tanking for Wembanyama. And my suggestion rattled Perloff so much that we couldn't use it on the air. And then I never was asked back. So I was afraid for months that my one suggestion had ruined what could have been a really deep professional and personal relationship. But now here we are back together.
Wait, what was it? Is it
what was it, like
too profane for air?
Yeah.
It was sell your mama for Wembanyama. Which is a joke. You had human trafficking concerns.
Yeah.
So we didn't use it.
I'm not sure what it even means. Sell your mama for Wembanyama?
You would do anything, including sell your mama, to get Wembanyama.
Yeah, I understand it. That makes perfect sense. You were worried about human trafficking? Bogish. I think that's brilliant.
Money.
Thank you, Maggie.
So good. Anyway, I'm so glad we got that cleared up. If I had been there, I would have just coined you a genius.
We would have trademark t-shirts ready.
I know. Where's the merch? Anyway, so thank you, Bogs. This is pretty awesome. So the bet that's going to be paid off this week, this is happening, everybody. Set your watches. Yep. Friday. Perloff decided to bet me, and I don't know what you were thinking when you bet this, that somehow Joe Burrow was going to take less money than Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you thought this was going to happen.
Because I was mistakenly under the impression that Joe Burrow was a team player, wanted to win Super Bowls, that he was Tom Brady. I thought he was the reincarnation of Tom Brady, who famously took less, or Patrick Mahomes. Turns out Joe Burrow is all about himself, and look what's happened since he signed that record-breaking contract.
Yeah, well, he got injured in training camp, and I was like, all right, well, if he wasn't going to take more now, he definitely is, now that he's with the calf. Anyway, Perloff thought he was going to take less than Herbert. I'm like, all right, well, I'll make that bet with you. He's going to take more than Justin Herbert.
And how much more did he take?
Like $500,000, but whatever. He took more. And for losing this bet, Perloff now has to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands.
And I understand Skyline chili, it's not exactly like chili that you normally think of. It's more like soup.
Yeah, saucy. I wouldn't wear that Phillies jersey on Friday. Yeah, well, we all would. I think you got to go poncho here. Perloff said yesterday he's worried about drowning, suffocating.
Well,
what were you talking
hands.
about?
I have no hands.
By chili? How's that going to happen?
Death by
asphyxiated by Skyline chili. Because what if it gets in my nose and blocks my breathing, whatever?
Yeah, then just take your face out of it for a second and breathe. Back. I'm not going to be like there shoving your face in it like I'm dunking in the toilet. Yeah.
Giving him a Skyline swirly.
Yeah, right.
Well, none of you guys are eating the Skyline chili, so of course you're not at risk.
Can I also just mention that when we first made this bet, we were doing an afternoon show. I feel like eating Skyline chili at 8 a.m. hits different than 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that part doesn't bother me. I'm actually really looking forward to eating the Skyline chili.
That's going to make for some fun experiences elsewhere.
Clear the bathroom for 2 hours.
Oh, boy.
Are you kidding me? Of the food bets that I've made, this is relatively safe in the bathroom area compared.
Yes. Perloff's put all types of spicy chicken wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so bowl of Skyline chili, no hands. This is pie eating contest style with the hands behind your back. And that's going to happen on Friday, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you think it's not just the drowning in Skyline chili, it's the cheese and, cheese. Am I wearing goggles? Like my eyes could get, get some cheese in my eye. This is a very dangerous thing I'm doing here. I don't know if I even have to do this. Is HR approving this?
You know what? HR, surprisingly, they came back with 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. When you ate peanut butter, they stepped in like they were stepping in front of a Mack truck. But for this one, they're like, full speed ahead, guys. Godspeed. Good luck.
I could lose my eye to a shard of cheese, and you guys don't even care. I thought people were nice in the morning.
No, we're not. We're mean.
We're still waking up.
Yeah. And we're going to be waking up to you eating chili with no hands on Friday. So there you go. 855-212-4CBS. Again, thank you, Andrew Bogish. 855-212-4227. Coming up, the latest head coach who's in a lot of hot water. We get to that in moments. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff. Does anyone else think of Pulp Fiction when this?
Oh, definitely.
100%. It's a great movie song like mix, you know?
Yeah, what
association.
Actually, I don't even know who's the song by.
I forgot.
Dick Dale and the Deltones.
Oh, Dick Dale. Okay.
There you go. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We just listen to music here. It's a new twist on a sports talk radio show in the morning.
We're actually, if you're listening to us on radio, we're dancing right now.
Yeah, Uma Thurman and Travolta style.
All right,
Man, Uma
nobody
Thurman
can see that
was
on the radio.
so hot in that movie. I was her for Halloween once. Like, I tried to replicate it. Her in that movie. Like, with the wig. Like, I bought a wig and everything. So cool. I didn't come close. And no one knew who I was. 855-212-4CBS. Maybe they did. I don't know. It's college. 855-212-4CBS. It's all haze. Let's go to the phone. Speaking of hazes, Sean is in Oregon. Sean, a diehard Weedo. Sean, what's up, dude?
Hey, you guys. What a game that was last night. I don't know how many people waking up in New York watched it last night. It only ended, about 7 hours ago?
Well, I mean, the Giants fans are crying, but what are you going to do? Daniel Jones stinks.
Those Giants fans left. They didn't even watch the game. I mean, those are lame fans.
Would you? I mean, Sean, I can't kill the fans for wanting to get home on a Monday night. That was not a fun product.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's just a terrible look. I mean, I stay up in Seattle and watch Seattle lose and drive home from Seattle all night.
Apparently, there were Seahawks chants going throughout the crowd. Yeah. There were tons. I saw, walking on the streets of New York, I saw Seahawks jerseys all over the place yesterday.
And how about Sunday night? Apparently, the stadium was like half red because of the Chiefs and suddenly the Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah.
Who are also Chiefs fans now.
How about Bobby Wagner getting 17 tackles last night?
Amazing.
How about, you talk about Geno Smith. Going back to the beginning of last year, I think he still is the leading percentage passer.
Wait, Sean, you're a Seahawks fan?
No, I'm a Steelers fan. I can't wait to go up there on New Year's Eve and see the slugfest. But I just always support local teams.
There you go.
And the Seahawks are a good team around here, but a lot of people love them. And Pete Carroll's great. I mean, look what Pete Carroll does.
I know. Sean, it's a great call. Thanks for making it. Thanks for waking up with us. And great to hear from you. Perloff, you were talking about it. Like Pete Carroll, it's funny. We've got two coaches now who are in their 70s in the NFL. And Pete Carroll is sprinting down the sidelines and reinventing the Legion of Boom. And on the other side, you've got Bill Belichick, whose team looks like they've fallen completely off a cliff, at least on the offensive side.
Their 38-3 loss, worst loss Belichick suffered, worst halftime loss deficit he's ever had. So they're 1-3. I hate to say this. Sunday, October 8th, New Orleans, this Sunday, that's a must-win game. If they don't win that game, they're not going to be competitive this year, and I think Belichick's in big trouble. I think Robert Kraft, the owner, is ready to move on.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that Pete Carroll has going for him that Bill Belichick doesn't. At least Pete Carroll has a GM. Like John Schneider, I think, is a good general manager. There's been misses for sure, like all GMs, but look at the rookie class this year. Look at what they did with the Russell Wilson trade. Like, look how ahead of the curve they look in even trading Wilson, who so far the Seahawks have totally won that trade. So, Belichick as his own GM, I think, is turned out to be tough and not be that was a terrible idea for him. He's done it this way forever. But Belichick as the coach, I'm still scared of him. He still lives rent-free in my head.
Belichick's made some good picks. I mean, Christian Gonzalez, Gonzalez looks like his stud. He just got hurt. Cole Strange last year is really good too. So I don't know if it's the players. Honestly, I think it's, and I don't know if it's Belichick. I think his assistants have been questionable in the sense that he has his son doing an important role in the defense.
Yeah.
Last year, he screwed up the offensive coordinator going with Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. Bill O'Brien's back. Does Bill O'Brien still have his fastball?
Well, I mean, I think Bill O'Brien was going to look like Bill Walsh compared to the Joe Judge and Matt Patricia.
But he definitely has not. And also, he has a quarterback, Mac Jones, who's built for 1988. And Bill Belichick's heyday, he can't move. When he runs, it looks like Tom Brady, except he can't throw like Tom Brady. This is a mess. I think it's going south. This loss to the Cowboys made me think, oh, boy, they're going to get blown out a few times this year.
Well, and if they do decide to move on from Belichick, first of all, who are you replacing him with? You just mentioned Bill O'Brien. You're going to do that. I mean, he did have some success in Houston. You're going to put Gerard Mayo there. I mean, whoever's the guy after the guy, it's going to be tough.
Well, I think they should go the exact opposite. Who's the exact opposite of Bill Belichick?
You.
That's true.
Rex Ryan.
No, I think you go for Lincoln Riley or somebody out of the Sean McVay, Lincoln Riley, Cliff Kingsbury, fast-paced offense. Bring some life into that team. Just go opposite of. I mean, Bill Belichick's running a ball control offense with Mac Jones at quarterback. Forget that. Bring in an air raid system and just go all out different Belichick.
Okay, but unless you actually get one of those guys, like you are not going to get McVay. Like he's under contract. He just got a contract extension. Lincoln Riley, he pays no attention to defense. Like you still have to be a complete team in the NFL if you have a prayer of actually succeeding.
They would be lucky to get Lincoln Riley.
Okay, but if you don't actually get that guy or you're just taking a shot on an unproven assistant and somebody who's doing it under, Sean McVay or someone who's doing it under Lincoln Riley or something like that.
Well, I mean, Bill Belichick was once that guy. That's how you make great coaches. Sean McVay was once that guy.
Well,
so
but
they could do
Belichick
that.
had coaching experience in Cleveland before he went back to the Jets and then went to New England. I mean, he had some experience as a head coach.
Well, right. But every great coach was a defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator at some point. I just think that they need to start over. Every team has to rebuild. They've had 20 years of being awesome. At a certain point, it's going to fall apart. I mentioned it yesterday. Tom Landry. You would have thought he'd coach the Cowboys forever. It just doesn't happen. Vince Lombardi in Green Bay. And at some point, these coaches, they just lose it somehow. I don't even think Belichick at 70, I think he's more likely to go to TV than coach again. I don't think he wants. Is he really going to coach again and build another team like the Patriots? It took him years to build that culture.
I would never be more sure of anything in my life that Belichick would be terrible at TV. Have you ever seen that guy smile? It looks like he's looking straight into the sun. He's like, yeah. It's like he's so not, I don't know. Unless that charisma that people have been talking about behind the scenes can really come through, not only does it have to be real, that charisma, it also has to be able to cut through the TV camera and get into your living room. He's going to be up there with Jimmy Johnson and, Terry Bradshaw yucking it up on the Fox set. No shot.
But would you be more interested in what Bill Belichick said on TV than any of those guys?
He's going to get another job. Yes, I would be. But he's going to get another job.
I know why you're saying that. It's because of the Don Shula record. You're saying if they fired him, he would take another job just to try and get the all-time wins record.
And also, I think to probably show Robert Kraft and his son, I still have it. I think Belichick has major bleep you energy. And it would be like, hey, look at what Tom Brady did. Everyone thought that Tom looked bad. He looked, shot. He ends up going to Tampa. They win a Super Bowl in the first season. I think Belichick would go and try to win again.
And guess what? It's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, who's to say? I you and I look at Belichick a little bit differently, and I think maybe it's just run its course in New England.
Or is it because there's no Tom Brady?
Well, right now, that's the narrative. Like right now, Brady's won.
Brady, the worse the Patriots are this year, like Sunday, the better Tom Brady looks historically.
Oh, it's over. Unless Belichick goes to like the, I don't know, Raiders and wins a title or something, Brady's won. This is game, set, match on this.
I was thinking about what team would he end up with next. I know Josh McDaniels is a Belichick protege, but Vegas jumped to my mind too.
No, but Brady's a part owner.
Ooh.
Does that make it better or worse? Probably better.
I don't know. You always think Tom Brady's coming out of retirement. Belichick lands in Las Vegas, brings back Tom Brady.
Love it. Which NFL starting quarterback is in danger of losing their starting job? We get to that in moments. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's the reigning Fortnite champion. She's a Call of Duty legend. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
So many talents that we have yet to reveal. Hey, it's Maggie and Perloff, the brand new morning show here on CBS Sports Radio. So glad to have you. Okay. We've got some starting quarterbacks in the NFL, Perloff, who are in a lot of trouble. And these are the young guys, okay? We're not going to talk about the rookies. We got to give them a little bit of chance to develop. But for some dudes who are in their second and third year, so far the returns on a lot of these guys have been bad.
People forget the first round draft is 50% bust for quarterbacks. We get so excited in April. Oh, we got the savior. More often than not, they either are okay or, in this case, some of these guys bad.
So EJ's going to toss to us a couple names. We'll tell you whether they'll be starting or where they should be playing, if not for their current team. EJ, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Maggie and Perloff. Doing great. So let's start with a guy we were just talking about in terms of his team and where they're going to be going in the future. Mac Jones, quarterback for the New England Patriots. Is he starting next season, and where?
I will say absolutely not. He is not starting. I am almost sure he will be a backup with the Patriots because I don't think anybody, even if he's out there, nobody's going to want Mac Jones. Not the one guy who you'd think would be Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, who clearly wanted to draft him a couple years ago. But Shanahan's got 4 quarterbacks, but he's got Purdy, who he loves, and he's got Sam Darnold, who I think he likes a lot, to Maggie's chagrin. So unless Kyle Shanahan's going to come save Mac Jones at some point, I think he's just stuck in limbo in New England.
Okay, I did put Mac Jones to San Francisco because I think that maybe Mac Jones, is he an upgrade over Sam Darnold? He might be. I have no idea.
No way.
And I ultimately think that there was a reason that Shanahan always wanted Mac Jones and that they're going to find a way to make it happen. We're not sure who's going to be the coach of the Patriots next year or who their quarterback or anything that's going to be going on with their team. They're totally in limbo.
What about that MVP candidate starting in San Francisco right now? They're going to bring in Mac Jones over Brock Purdy's shoulder?
He'll be back over his shoulder. Come on.
Okay.
He's fine. You know, Brock Purdy, especially if they win the Super Bowl this year, Brock Purdy is going to have no reason to worry. All right, EJ, who's next?
All right, so let's go to Chicago here, another team that's kind of in this disarray. What about Justin Fields? Is he starting next year and where?
Okay, Justin Fields is gone. Matt Eberflus is gone. I don't know if even the general manager is going to survive this one. It could be a full house clean in Chicago. Everything there has just been terrible. I mean, the latest is Chase Claypool is either being told to stay home or wants to stay home. I mean, this all comes off the heels of Justin Fields basically airing out the organization in a press conference like a week and a half ago. Everything's been bad. Here's what I see for Fields. No longer on the Bears because they're going to have probably the first overall pick this year, maybe the second too. Back up to Lamar Jackson in Baltimore.
Ooh, okay.
How do you like that?
Who's the backup now?
Tyler Huntley. Snoop Huntley.
Is he still there?
Yeah.
And then they have Josh Johnson too, who's there. I think he's starting. And I'll tell you where I think he goes home. Atlanta Falcons. It's already been rumored that Atlanta is interested in him. Can you picture Justin Fields with Drake London and Kyle Pitts and that run game? I think I'm not sure that Arthur Smith survives in Atlanta, but I think you could have a really dynamic offense, kind of like, how about this idea? You bring Ryan Day from Ohio State, who's already sort of embattled, has some interest in the NFL. The NFL seems to be interested in him. Recreate an Ohio State offense with incredible receivers, great running backs, and Justin Fields, who people think can not throw the ball, but threw 41 touchdowns at Ohio State. I think that's a perfect fit. It's sort of in the ether already that Atlanta might be interested in Justin Fields. People want to match them together. I think that's a great way to try to save Justin Fields' career because, listen, even if he's not an efficient passer, that dude can run, and that's got to have some value.
Okay, here's my question about the Falcons, though. Why trade for Fields when you could just draft a quarterback and start the clock running on a young quarterback from zero?
Well, you might be in serious competition to be at the top of the draft, though. There might be 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks gone in the first 5 picks. Are you sure Atlanta's that bad? Because they have that run game. They can probably churn out some wins here.
They do, but I think that this could be like a quarterback draft that might be like 6 deep. So would it not? All these guys still have the COVID year and the transfer portal. These dudes are like 26 years old, all coming out of college. They're like finished products.
Yeah, but how old do you think Justin Fields is? Well, they're going to look at Justin Fields and say he's the same age as he's 24 right now.
No, but he has to get paid soon. Like his rookie contract is going to be coming to an end.
I mean, okay, say they're at number 7. They're looking at Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy, and they're going to put him next to Justin Fields.
Well, maybe not that. Not that.
Well, I mean, that's who's getting mocked in top. Like, there's the 3 or 4 top 10 quarterbacks. Bo Nix. Justin Fields is the same age as Bo Nix. J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, who's older than Justin Fields. They're not getting Caleb Williams. So I think Fields, people might look at it as like a draft prospect. I think he starts. I think he's just way too talented to be a backup. Someone's going to give him a shot.
EJ, who's next?
All right, so let's stay here in New York. Zach Wilson of the New York Jets.
Oh, brother.
Oh, I'll go here. That's another guy who's staying put because the Jets are all in on Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers has decided that Zach Wilson. Have you guys ever seen the Kentucky Derby when the horses come out? They have a little partner horse that runs around the track with them to keep them comfortable.
Yeah.
That is Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers likes having him around because it makes Aaron Rodgers feel better about himself.
Yeah.
So I think the Jets are running back what they thought was going to be this year, next year. Aaron Rodgers is working hard. He'll come back, and he's got his little buddy there.
Do you guys, does that happen in real life? Like, you like someone to be around you because they just make you feel better about yourself?
I have a couple guys like that who just pump me up. I got some hype guys.
People just like walking like 1/2 step behind you, like Perloff's just just a little bit right over the shoulder.
You know some of my hype guys. I got a couple guys who I just like going to events with them because they make me feel more secure. Is
Your
that
hype
weird?
guys are great, and they've now turned into my friends, and now they kind of hype me up too, and it's awesome.
You have some hype guys?
No,
too?
I have the opposite. My friends are ruthless. I have the type of friend group. From high school, my college group is a little bit nicer. My high school group, it is like, do not walk out of the room because the moment you do, and it's all out of love, and we know, and these are deep friendships that go back 20 years, but it's like, you can't screw up just a little bit. My friends will be on you for the end of time. You will get made fun of forever. What was that, Pete?
You believe what she did?
Yeah, right. Or just, it's all in good fun, but they will make fun of you to your face, too. I'm still living down stuff from high school that I can't get out of.
When you get together with your high school friends, you immediately recreate high school.
Yes,
And your mind goes back to when you were 17, and it's not out of love. That's pure insecurity. You guys are going
I don't know.
Oh, come on, out of love. What's the love there?
There is love. It's just a different dynamic. It's the opposite of the hype person. It's like if you want to really get humbled, this is a good group for you to be in.
My best friends a lot of them are high school guys. The first 10 minutes of the dinner is always like positive, how you doing? It's so great to see you. And then the claws start to come out. And then the insults. By the end of the meal, we're basically cursing each other out every time.
It's funny. I'm on text threads with every single one of them individually and as a group. Oh, God. The dynamics are crazy. I agree with Perloff. Zach Wilson will be in New York, but he'll be backing up Aaron Rodgers. They just can't quit Zach Wilson here. Who else you got, EJ?
Oh, that makes me sick.
Anyway,
going to Pittsburgh here. Shout out to Perloff's sweet sweater there. Got the Roberto Clemente.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett.
First of all, we got to see the knee injury. Doesn't look like it's going to be very serious. So he might not miss any time. Who they play? The Ravens this week?
Yes.
I think they stick with Pickett. Listen, they're sticking with Matt Canada, for heaven's sake. I mean, the fact that we know this offensive coordinator, know how bad he is, and it's like a national story. I think that Pickett has plenty of cover. They've got to change the offensive coordinator. They have playmakers. Pickett's not going anywhere, and I'm not so sure that he should be. I think he could be a starter in this league. I think he is a starter in this league.
Totally agree. I think you got to give Kenny Pickett a chance with a new offensive coordinator. Even if they don't move on from Matt Canada during the season, absolutely next year they're going to move on from him. And also that defense, another situation, they have a defense and a run game that's going to win a bunch of games. They're not going to be a top 8 pick. They're not going to have anyone better than Kenny Pickett. They're a very loyal team, too. They're not fast to move on. I think Pickett has shown some signs. I don't know why. He is holding onto the ball way too long right now, and he's putting himself in bad situations again and again. If I'm the Steelers, I am not giving up on this year. And I picked the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl, so I'm a little bit I'm a little bit biased here. But I think that TJ Watt's such a great defensive player. I like that Najee Harris is getting pushed and he's running really hard. I think the Steelers still churn out wins, and Mike Tomlin keeps his win streak alive. He's a great coach. I think Pickett's going to look better by the end of the year, unless his knee is just really going to kill him. But I think Pickett is going to fix it this year, and no one's going to say in the offseason, ooh, should we move on from Kenny Pickett?
Okay, last one, EJ. Who is it?
All right, let's go down to the A. Desmond Ridder. Where does he go?
I was all behind Desmond Ridder, but I just don't think it's there. And here's the thing about Atlanta. It's not like they made this huge commitment to him. What was he, a third-round pick? Like, this was a trial. This was like, trying him on for size and taking it for a spin. I don't think that this is a fit. It looks crazy that they didn't go harder after Lamar Jackson, considering they did go hard after Deshaun Watson. And then you had Lamar sitting right there, and they were like, no, we're going to pass on Lamar, which seems crazy. I think that Atlanta, unlike you thinking they go for Justin Fields, I think they stick in draft.
I don't know that this is the right fit for Lamar Jackson because you have so much invested in your skill position players. Is Lamar Jackson really the point guard who's going to get it to Bijan Robinson and Drake London and Kyle Pitts? That's more like a Brock Purdy situation. Lamar Jackson, he could be good. Obviously, he'd be amazing there. And that would have made, I'm saying this now, it would make sense. But I think that that's a really interesting team. Ridder is not good. I was kind of high on the Falcons too, especially last week. In the Jacksonville-London game, he made so many mistakes. There were so many plays out there on the field. I think this is a good fit for Fields. By the way, it's funny because I say he's a running quarterback as well. Right.
He's not exactly a point guard.
But one thing is very exciting in Atlanta. Bijan is the truth. So there is probably an argument not to draft a guy, bring in a veteran, because this team looks like they're ready to win now. Bijan, they got to use Kyle Pitts. That was a very weird pick. They don't even target him. They're young tight end. I think it's either Justin Fields or another sort of free agent type comes in, and Atlanta's going to be good soon.
Think about all of these young starters with major question marks in the NFL. 855-212-4CBS. George is in Los Angeles. Good morning, George. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm fine. I really enjoy your show. I was pleasantly surprised about the Rams start so far. I know they're just 2-2, but for having 19 rookies,
yep.
And remember, the NFL did them no favors as far as their schedule. Their schedule, the first 4 games, 3 on the road. And they only got Philadelphia this weekend, and I hope that Stafford's okay. I think it's just a hip contusion. But they got Cooper coming back, so Philadelphia better be careful in this game. They could easily lose this game, in my opinion.
George, thank you for the phone call. I will pass it over to our Philadelphia Eagles fan, Andrew Perloff. Are you nervous about the Rams?
Well, George is delusional. How are the Rams going to beat my Eagles? No, this is a very dangerous game. The Eagles have been flirting with a loss the last few weeks. And I just remember that was when Carson Wentz in the Super Bowl year got hurt in L.A. This Rams game, weird things happen when the Eagles go to the West Coast. Incredibly dangerous game. This is definitely could be, I don't know if they're taking this game seriously or what the Eagles are doing because they're so focused on the Cowboys and the Niners. Yeah, Puka Nacua is unbelievable. I can't believe this rookie.
So here's what I can't believe from Perloff. So Perloff loves to call people a product of the system.
Yeah.
If you're a big fan of the Dan Patrick Show, Perloff got in a little trouble when he called Tom Brady a system quarterback.
That was actually SI, and I wrote this long column, and it was stuck with me for about 14 years. But go ahead.
Yes. Sorry. Well done. I believe you said Justin Jefferson is also a product of the system, system wide receiver. That one.
No, I'd also, too, Kirk Cousins throws such a catchable ball that Justin Jefferson is dominant.
Right.
Put him with Justin Fields, and it wouldn't be anything like this.
Well, where I'm going with this is that Puka Nacua has been amazing for the Rams, right? He's kind of taken over in this Cooper Kupp role. But did you ever call Cooper Kupp a system wide receiver?
1,000%.
Okay, because he was also a borderline MVP candidate a couple of years ago.
Right, but that was obvious. That was Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. First of all, do you think it's coincidence that Matthew Stafford has had two of the highest yardage receivers in history in Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp? I love Calvin Johnson, but Matthew Stafford feeds wide receivers. So, yeah, definitely Puka's part of the system here.
I was going to say, this should be your ultimate slam dunk of the system because Nakua's come in and he's been electric, scored his first touchdown. He had all these catches, but it took until overtime against the Colts, the Colts to get his first touchdown. He's amazing.
You know what the narrative around the Eagles is right now? They better beat the Rams, and then they have the Jets. Then, because they have this run coming up where all of a sudden their schedule gets real. Dolphins, Cowboys, Chiefs, all in a row. So the Eagles have to. I know this sounds weird. This is a game the Eagles have a lot of pressure to win.
So the other thing about tying this into last night, with the Seahawks go in and put on a pretty dominant performance over the Giants. The final score wasn't super dominant, but if you watch that game, Seahawks got to Daniel Jones for 11 sacks. I mean, defense was stifling, and the Giants just couldn't do anything. Maybe would have liked some more explosive plays from the Seahawks, but they grinded out a win, and that's all they needed. You know, that NFC West, because the Rams have looked pretty spry, and to be honest, the Cardinals look spry. They're just not winning games. This has turned into what we thought was maybe a very top-heavy division, San Francisco and everyone else. And now this is a pretty deep division. If the Rams can hang on, if Stafford's hips can hold up, this could end up being a very stout division.
Let's talk Monday. Let's see how the Rams hold up against the Eagles.
Okay.
If the Rams beat the Eagles, I'm all in on this take. But the Rams are still very much a work in progress. They went to overtime against the Colts. And the Colts
just beat the Ravens.
The Colts are all over the place. Yeah, I know. The Colts beat the Ravens because Matt Gay, their kicker, was unbelievable. Then Matt Gay didn't show up last Sunday. It kind of cost them the game. I'm not sold. I'm just not sold. And you think the Cardinals are so spicy and because they're close in games.
I mean, everyone thinks they're tanking. And by the way, Kyler Murray doesn't look like he's coming back. No end in sight there. That's another guy we should have asked. Where's he playing next year? Because it's probably not on the Cardinals. Definitely not on the Cardinals. So everyone thought they were a race to the bottom, but they're putting the scare into people.
I still think the NFC East has an argument. Listen, the Giants are the worst right now, but they'll get healthier, and I don't know, maybe they can challenge the Cardinals. So Giants and Cardinals knock each other off. I think the Eagles-Cowboys is stronger than the Niners-Seahawks. Seahawks did win this game, but come on, that was against the Giants. You really think they're better than the Cowboys or the Eagles? No.
I can't say that, but surprising is how I would label the NFC West. So I'm pleasantly surprised how strong that looks.
In that model, by the way, that means that you put the Rams up against the Commanders.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with that.
That's a battle I want to see.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to bet on that game. 855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, we get back to the absolute latest from last night's game. We'll do that next. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff show. Maggie, if Daniel Jones did not get $80 million guaranteed, a little over $80 million this offseason, would everybody be as mad at him today in New York for last night's 24-3 loss to the Seahawks? If he was getting paid closer to the minimum, whatever, say he was Brock Purdy, then I think everyone would say, oh, the whole team's a disaster. But because of that contract, I think Daniel Jones takes the brunt of the criticism.
Well, I think when you get paid $40 million, the expectation suddenly goes up. And that was fool's gold last year. This was a guy who had an all-time contract year. Not all-time. I mean, he was fine. He was much better. He didn't turn the ball over. And they just handed him a boatload of money. And, now you have to be the rising tide because, listen, the Giants have drafted offensive linemen. You had your left tackle out last night, but the Seahawks had their 2 tackles out last night, and they made it work.
But the reality is this is a team problem. This is not just a quarterback problem. Obviously, the turnovers last night were bad.
Yeah,
and the pick
3
six,
of them.
The pick six, I still have a suspicion the wide receiver screwed up. I think the whole team is bad, and it's just one of those situations where the money makes it look like it's all the quarterback. I don't think a new quarterback is coming in there and fixing anything.
Which, by the way, we credit quarterbacks who, take these team-friendly deals and don't take every last dollar. Geno Smith, who is on a very team-friendly deal for the Seahawks. And look, I mean, it's not like they have a lot of high-priced guys all around, but he has certainly done that. 855-2124-CBS. Stewart is in North Carolina's got a thought on one of Perloff's takes. Hey, Stu, how are you?
Hi. Great show as always. Good to hear you in the morning.
Thank you.
So, Andrew, I think you're way off base with your term of system player.
Okay.
That's called good coaching.
Yeah.
They always say the sign of a good coach is one who puts his players in position to succeed. And yet, according to you, the greatest wide receiver in the history of football would be called a system player, Jerry Rice. Well,
absolutely.
Bill Walsh was a genius and knew how to use Jerry Rice.
Right.
So I think it's very unfair to players. And you talk about Matthew Stafford making great wide receivers. Well, maybe Matthew Stafford had 2 great wide receivers. I mean, Calvin Johnson, many people would argue, is the best wide receiver of the last 20 years.
I love Calvin Johnson.
So I think you're being very unfair to the players.
Well,
I think it's a combination of the players being really good and the coaches knowing how to use them.
So let me ask you this. Do you think it's a coincidence that the greatest quarterback ever in Joe Montana and the greatest wide receiver ever, Jerry Rice, both happened to land in San Francisco at the same time? Of course it was Bill Walsh. And that proves my system player thing.
No.
Jerry Rice if he goes to another team, then there's no way he's the GOAT.
It's a combination of all the factors. Number one, Jerry Rice and Joe Montana had amazing talent, and Bill Walsh knew how to use the talent. So it's not any one specific thing. It's a combination of all the ingredients.
Right, but then we look at history and say it was just Joe Montana and Jerry Rice that was so great. I agree. When you say a combination of all ingredients, you know what you might call that? You might call it a recipe, or you'd call it a system, a combination of ingredients, hence the system.
I think a system is saying the only reason they were good was because of how they were used. But maybe Jerry Rice was amazing talent. He probably could have been really, really, really good anywhere. So,
Well, that's, Stuart, and thank you for the phone call. I think what you're seeing now, like, here's a guy There's two wide receivers right now that I think you can say certainly not system wide receivers. Devontae Adams. That dude, it doesn't matter who's throwing to him, where, he'll catch it. I think Garrett Wilson also should get that same distinction.
What?
I know
what
he's
has
young.
Garrett Wilson done?
Well, nothing except for have over 1,100 yards receiving last year with a bunch of nobody quarterbacks, and now is still very good this year with Zach Wilson. Like, those are guys who right now it's like their quarterbacks just aren't doing anything for them, and they still put up awesome numbers.
Yeah.
Not everybody's part of the system. That's my point.
Okay, first of all, over 1,100 yards in today's NFL.
Just saying.
Yeah, you can't put Garrett Wilson. I know that he gets compared to Devontae Adams because Aaron Rodgers is there.
Yeah.
There are a few guys. I think Calvin Johnson was actually an outlier to his system.
Yeah.
But
Tim Brown was like that. Tim Brown had like 15 quarterbacks that he played with and still made the Hall of Fame.
Tom Brady said it best. If I had been drafted by Arizona, I'd probably be out of the league in 5 years. I mean, listen, we're talking about system and Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones happened to go into another system, who knows? Maybe he'd be better off right now. Daniel Jones is kind of hard to see, but he is a very, very talented running quarterback.
Yeah, and he's got a good arm, but you never see it together.
Right, but maybe that's because the receivers are terrible there. Terrible.
Yeah, they thought they did a big upgrade. Hey, look at the time. We've got to get to Andrew Bogusch. He's got our headlines. Good morning, Bogues.
Good morning again. If it takes a village to raise a child, it apparently also takes a village to allow 11 sacks on Monday Night Football. Giants head coach Brian Daboll tries to explain how Daniel Jones never had a chance against the Seahawks.
Probably a little bit of everything. Had some longer routes at times, got beat at times, reads at times, calls at times. I'd say kind of collection of everything.
They all sucked. There were also 3 giveaways, just 3 points playing without Saquon Barkley and left tackle Andrew Thomas. New tight end Darren Waller can only shrug.
I don't got the answers. I can't tell anybody how to do their job. All I can do is do what I'm asked to do and go out there and try to execute that.
The 24-3 loss to the Seahawks means the Giants have been outscored 64-3 in 2 primetime home games this season.
Do you see Daniel Jones is 1-12 in prime time, which is great because my guy Andy Dalton is the famous primetime struggling guy. Now Daniel Jones is taking that mantle, and I say run with it.
Now Andy might be off the hook. Kirk Cousins, don't forget, also cannot play it.
It's sort of a triumvirate of Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, and now Daniel Jones, who are all very rich people.
That is true.
The Seahawks, meanwhile, take a 3-game win streak back home, but this game tighter than it needed to be. The Giants could have made it a 1-score game late in the third, but that's when rookie Devin Witherspoon returned to pick 97 yards for points. He also had 2 of their team record-tying 11 sacks. Now, you guys will get to the odd comments yesterday from Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski on QB Deshaun Watson, but there's also Myles Garrett dealing with a foot injury in Cleveland. They are calling him day-to-day as they head into their bye. Bengals wideout T. Higgins wants to face the Cardinals Sunday despite his cracked rib, and Colts running back Jonathan Taylor returns to practice tomorrow. He's been on the PUP list after offseason ankle surgery. It's apparently possible Taylor even plays this weekend. Yay, the Phillies have a playoff game today. It was pretty nuts there last fall when they lost the World Series, thankfully. Zach Wheeler hoping for a repeat of that atmosphere this time around.
It was special. It was loud. You could feel it. You could literally feel it. And, hopefully they bring that energy this year. We're looking forward to playing here right away.
Wheeler starts against the Marlins tonight. First game, best 3. First pitch is just after 8 Eastern. But it ain't all 4-0 Eagles and playoff baseball in Philly. The
It should be.
Sixers remain in disarray. No James Harden at media day yesterday, leaving Joel Embiid to speak from his evil lair.
Hopefully the situation with James get resolved. If he's here, we love him. And, we want him to be with us. And I think we have a better team with him on the floor. So... and I think he knows it too.
I think this is my favorite voice in sports. It just makes me smile. No matter what he says, there's just something simultaneously innocent, and again, he should be the villain in a Bond movie or coming down from Castle Grayskull to deliver his James Harden takes.
But he's wrong about that. The Sixers are a better team with that James Harden off the court. I say stay away as long as you want. The Sixers are now worried that they can't get the right trade value by getting rid of him. Anything Just get rid of him.
But that's
It is
not what
total
Daryl
addition by
Morey does.
subtraction.
He will wait around to get every last pick swap that he can for James Harden. But yesterday, Perloff, you were mildly upset with Bogus, editorializing in his updates.
Mhm.
I loved it. I mean, I'm a big fan. That was a 5-star review. Everything perfect. Yes, nobody wants to see the Phillies in the postseason. All of that's great.
So I root for the Phillies anyway because I'm from Philadelphia. I'm rooting extra hard this year that they go on a deep run just to see your guys' face if they happen to win. Now, I don't have huge expectations for the team, but now I'm doubling down just to hear the updates. If my guy Bryce Harper goes off, Maggie, particularly Bryce Harper, it's going to be wonderful. Bogus, who's your team? Who's your team? Are you another Mets fan?
Yeah, I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's all right. Onward. Richest
Next
owner
year,
in
baby.
sports.
That's right.
We go.
David Stearns, baby.
Get ready.
We're all losing it over some analytical nerds coming in to run baseball operations that they've struck out 3 times trying to hire him in the past. This time we got him. Couldn't pick him out of a lineup, but we got him. Whoever this guy is. Yes, folks.
LeBron was asked in LA yesterday if this is his last season. He said, I don't know. He also talked about Bronny, telling us that his son had successful surgery for the heart condition that caused cardiac arrest during a USC workout this summer. The plan is for Bronny to play for the Trojans at some point this season, but he is not on the court with them right now. And I'm assuming Bilotti acted quickly on this. Hopefully the rest of you guys did as well. The jean shorts that Taylor Swift wore Sunday night at Jets Chiefs, they're now sold out, unfortunately. They were made by a company called Area. They were 50% off on Sunday night if you acted quickly, and that discount brought them down to just $600 for jean shorts with some kind of metallic studs on the pocket and on the zipper part. So
they fit very comfortably.
in those bad boys.
You look great in them, Pete. It's your season, and I love that. Perloff, you said your daughter said Taylor Swift dresses like a mom, and I was like, oh, well, I liked her outfit, and I'm a mom, so that makes a lot of sense, but I'm not buying $600 jean shorts. Nothing is going to make your body look much better. You are what you are in a pair of jean shorts.
Yeah, we had a off-air conversation about how fashionable Taylor Swift is, and I think not very. I feel like if you're the world's biggest pop star, you should really show out. Maggie's like, it's a football game. You're not going to wear couture to a football game.
Yeah, she looks silly. Perloff in his tuxedo showing up to an Eagles Cowboys
But
game.
does she ever look great? Does she? I mean, I know she looks great, but she does. I think her strength is not dressing and makeup and hair. Which is really weird coming from me.
I was going to say, pot me kettle. We can't all wake up and look like Andrew Perloff every morning.
I think the marketing team says we want Taylor Swift to look like a normal person, and that's why my daughter says she dresses like a mom.
Wait, but normal people don't wear $1,200 jean shorts that are 50% off to $600.
I mean, normal people wear jean shorts. I'll rock the jorts. I don't care. I'll look like Brett Favre on draft night if I have to.
And maybe that'll be another
old
bet.
Is she?
She's 33, according to EJ.
Because you would never know, there's nothing about her that's necessarily youthful, but then she hangs out with younger and older women too. Her friend group is mom with 4 kids, and then 20 something. So I think she wants to live in that, not nondescript, but that she's not definable. She's just kind of
ageless. Yeah, right. You can't tell.
Yeah, and
Middle
regular.
America, yeah. She relates to everybody.
I love your mom with 4 kids is Blake Lively. It's not, that's not
That is who was in my mind, and she's definitely older than 33.
I know, but that's not exactly Susan from the, car pickup. It's just a
I didn't
mom
call
with
anybody
4
elderly
kids.
like Boyle yesterday, so at least I didn't do that.
I know. Thank you for not calling someone 55 elderly. That's not going to win us any kind of friends. It's also not true. Anything else, Bogues? We good?
No, I'm good for now.
Fantastic. Great job. Speaking of the Taylor Swift thing, just really quickly, can we hear Michael Lombardi? This was a little surprising to me. So Michael Lombardi is a former general manager in the NFL, and he has a podcast called GM Shuffle, and I have not heard anyone say this about the Chiefs and the Taylor Swift stuff.
I think as we talk about this Chief team, I think the elephant in the room is the distractions. I know that everybody loves, Taylor Swift. I get that. But as a football team, it's hard when you have self-inflicted distractions around your team. And the way they played last night offensively, get 200 yards in the first quarter and then disappear, they get 200 the rest of the game. To me, it seems like it's becoming a distraction.
Perloff, the Taylor Swift is a distraction, which is why the Jets were able to hang around on the Chiefs. I have not heard that yet.
So if it's such a distraction, how come they're 2-0 since Taylor Swift has entered the picture and they destroyed the Bears? And by the way, Patrick Mahomes runs into the end zone. It's a 30-20 win at New York. They were never in any danger. Lombardi said it. They ran for 200 yards or had 200 yards in the first quarter. I don't buy that at all. They lost week 1 because Kelsey was out against the Lions and they made some strategic mistakes. What's wrong with the Chiefs right now?
Yeah,
Nothing.
Listen, the receivers are having a little more trouble getting open than maybe we're used to. These are kind of early season things, though, for the Chiefs. I'm not counting them out at all. But it is true. Like, if they were distracted by the Taylor Swift stuff, why not in the first quarter? Like, why in the first quarter were they totally fine? And then what? Like, they started feeling themselves? EJ, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a zoo atmosphere at MetLife. It was kind of unlike a normal football game. It probably kind of resembled almost a Super Bowl in terms of just like half the crowd and maybe they're not even for the game. So maybe
or a
that
Colorado Buffaloes game.
Or that too. So maybe that kind of took them out of the game. But yeah, they started out smashing the Jets. I mean, the way Pacheco was running over people that first few drives, like they looked fine.
Yeah. They were up against Chicago, the first Taylor Swift game. They were up 34-0 at half. Where was the distraction there? I mean, it is an NFL team, Chicago. I know they're bad, but they just destroyed them, and they killed Jacksonville. I know they didn't have a lot of yards, but they totally dominated that game against Jacksonville week 2. I'm not quite sure this is such a problem. By the way, Isaiah Pacheco, they should run him every time. I got to call Andy Reid because I saw this in Philadelphia.
You got his number?
Yeah, Andy Reid did this in Philadelphia. You get a star running back. He does not like to run the ball, and Pacheco is the key. I think a lot of these problems could be avoided if Kansas City was better at grinding out a lead, right? They're not great at that. They're up 17-0, and they kind of got bored, or I don't know. I'm not sure what happened.
They want to be doing ring around the rosy
and
like
doing
trick
fancy
plays to offensive linemen and all that stuff. Phil is in Pennsylvania. Phil, how are you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing good, guys. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Pearl.
What's up?
Just a couple questions for Perloff. I saw Reese Hoskins was, running the bases and doing batting practice. It's a possibility he might be back for the postseason. You think that's a smart move for the Phillies to bring him back? And will he even be effective? And Perloff, what is your greatest, fear or concern for the Phillies going into this upcoming postseason? That's all I have, guys.
I totally forgot, by the way. I totally forgot about Reese Hoskins until the other day that he's on the team. He's a great cheerleader. Yes. It doesn't actually. I actually heard this yesterday that it doesn't look like he's going to play, but that would be cool. It doesn't matter to me. I'm all about one thing: Kyle Schwarber. There is nobody. I don't care if the dude's hitting 140. To me, the most entertaining thing in baseball right now is Kyle Schwarber's long softball like home runs. He looks like every guy who just goes down to the local field. Amazing. I am so into this team. This is one of my favorite Phillies teams of all time. I have no concerns to answer your question because I love Harper, love Schwarber, love the attitude, love the post-game tradition of pouring water on guys. They have, you know how baseball teams get that team thing going, Maggie? Like the We Are Family? Like you can tell that they're all headed in the right direction. Of course, you wouldn't really know that because you're a Mets fan and they're all headed in different directions.
Yeah, thank you.
But I just feel like as far as that X factor of camaraderie, the Phillies have it.
Because they pour water on each other?
Yeah.
I mean, get out of here. No.
Their post game is hysterical.
Listen.
It's a circus. It's amazing.
Why? Because they put the hat on each other's head when they hit home runs?
They are great.
Newsflash, everyone in Major League Baseball does something like that. And
I know,
honestly,
and I'm there for all of it.
And they can all give each other high fives on the golf course after this round.
Yeah, I know. Fabulous. What a way to break the mold, Phillies. I mean, here's the thing. I actually thought the Blue Jays had the best one, which was the home run blazer, like the coat that they used to put on. And everyone's, to be honest, is ripping off the University of Miami with the turnover chain. And that's where these whole things all started, I think.
Isn't there like a Viking hat? One of the teams has a weird hat that's amazing.
Yeah, well, the Shohei Ohtani, the Angels have this really cool, like, Japanese-looking hat or whatever. I'm going to get in trouble. I don't know the name of it. Whatever. I'm sorry. No. I can't say anything because your Phillies are in the postseason and my team's not. But I can't sit here and let you say they have team camaraderie because they celebrate and by pouring water on each other. Get out of here.
I love it. Oh, okay. I just hope they win so badly just to see you be tortured by the Phillies' success. This is amazing.
Listen, I'll give them the credit where it's due, not because they high-five each other like better than everyone else. That's just
a good high five is worth something, Maggie. I totally think that can win you some games.
Yeah, that's the X factor, AJ.
No, it's just like I just feel like the Phillies, don't they wear it on a little thick?
Yes.
Like the whole,
It's
you're
called
buying
eyewash.
you're buying into this, like, oh, the whole team camaraderie thing. You know, Harper shows up at Eagles games, at Sixers games, like he's Mr. Philadelphia. Like, I mean, come on. Like, it's Philadelphia. I feel like you guys should be able to see through this stuff.
Thank you. He couldn't find Pat Sergino's on a map.
Exactly.
It's fraudulent.
Bryce Harper is in love with Philadelphia. You guys don't understand what it's like to be
$300 million.
Took him like 6 months to sign with them.
For $300 million, I'll be in love with anything.
You don't understand how Philadelphia embraces its stars because you guys are.
Yeah, because you're booing them all the time, like Trey Turner. Just because you decided to go opposite with Trey Turner, it's like, oh, let's cheer him, and then he goes on to have like one of the best seasons ever. There was no chance you guys. You hate your players.
Great fans.
Best fans in the world.
855-2124-CBS. Okay, we got to take a quick timeout. Coming back, yes, some cryptic comments coming out of Cleveland with Deshaun Watson and what's the state of his arm. We'll get to that in just moments. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
quarterbacks don't take all the money. And I think, by the way, since he's signed that contract, things could not have gone worse than Cincinnati.
It's 1-3. It's a terrible start for the Bengals, and he's just going to keep gutting it out with this calf injury that, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, would you rather try to get him a little bit of rest when you're playing a couple NFC teams and then hopefully go on a run to sneak into the postseason, or you're just going to keep rolling Burrow out there where he can't move and essentially, get the same result week after week?
Well, they did win last week, so you can sneak out some wins. I mean, it's desperate time for Cincinnati.
Well, not against the Titans.
No, I know. No, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they snuck out a win. So you can win games here. There's no margin for error. I mean, he can't do anything. He's got to play. And I don't think how do you know, Miss Doctor, that resting it, not playing is going to make it better?
Because I'm seeing what's happening when he's playing. I'm like, this can't be good.
Okay.
This cannot be good. And they said it's like a pain thing. Meanwhile, same division, you have more quarterback injuries. Kenny Pickett's dealing with a knee injury. We'll see if he'll be ready to go this week. And then Deshaun Watson. And this one was interesting because Watson, we saw him before the game try to warm up a little bit on the field. He ends up not playing. Dorian Thompson-Robinson ends up playing. They play the Ravens. They lose to the Ravens. And then Kevin Stefanski comes out after the game and says that Watson was medically cleared. It was just an issue where he didn't feel like he had all of his his arm was in a good enough place where he could play.
Right. So this is a shoulder injury.
Yep.
I can't imagine a coach getting mad at a quarterback because a shoulder, you know how it feels. Think of a pitcher. If I'm a quarterback, it's not like to me, that doesn't feel like a pain management thing. That feels like, hey, if I go out here, I might really blow this thing out. So I understand completely. If Deshaun Watson said, I'm not comfortable, I sympathize with him.
Listen, if guys don't feel like their body's ready to go, who am I to sit here hundreds of miles away and tell them they should play? It is very weird that the head coach would come out and say that he's medically cleared to play and didn't feel like he could play. Usually, and I'm not advocating for coaches lying to us, but usually there's a cover there. It's not, the doctor said he's cool, but he said he didn't want to play, because when you're the highest paid player in the league and you're hopefully in a big playoff race, going to be in the playoffs at the end of the season, that sounds a little weird.
Yeah, but he was out on the field before the game throwing the football, and He was still questionable. So how could the coach have said, he was not medically cleared, but we were still waiting to see till right before the game if he was medically cleared?
I just think you avoid the medically cleared thing because we're so used to quarterbacks gutting it out and giving them props for gutting it out, although I think Joe Burrow should sit down, so I guess I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth there. But I think that it's so odd to put that out there, because it does put the onus back on the player. Like, they could have gone and they didn't. Whereas, especially with quarterbacks, don't the coaches protect these guys at all costs? They don't want any, even a hint that the quarterback is not sacrificing every part of themselves to win games.
Are you saying that there is friction here with Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm saying it's something to keep an eye on.
Well, I'll tell you who's winning that battle.
Deshaun Watson. Because he's getting paid $1 gajillion and Kevin Stefanski is not. Man, we were talking about this before the show. Getting named Coach of the Year, what a kiss of death that can be. In all sports. It's not even the NFL. Like, Kevin Stefanski was a Coach of the Year. What have they done since? Matt Nagy was the Coach of the Year. He was fired 2 years later. Yeah. Brian Daboll, last night, not exactly putting on a coaching clinic. He's the reigning Coach of the Year, and that looked terrible in all three phases.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. Nagy was the worst of the worst. I just can't believe that. I was really into Brian Daboll. I thought he was a really good coach because of what he did with your Buffalo Bills. Last year, he was a very good play caller. Last night, I watched the play calling on the Giants. Their run game was so bad. I know Saquon wasn't there, but even a backup running back should be able to do more. And he didn't have a sense of when he should. It didn't feel to me like the Giants had a sense of when they should be passing and when they should be running. And I'm like, this guy was Coach of the Year? What is happening? How can you get bad in 1 year?
EJ.
Well, one of the things that has been a storyline for the Giants is who is calling the plays? Because before it was Kafka, and that was all of last season, Kafka called the plays. And then early this season, when things went bad with the Cowboys, next game, Daboll's calling plays in the second half of the Cardinals. And then there was confusion about who was calling plays moving forward. So some of this issues with the Giants that we're talking about could be down to the fact that they're kind of doing play calling by committee.
Yeah, and that's like, if you're the CEO and you're the coach, that's got to be a little bit more ironed out. By the way, Daboll, I totally respect the fact that he started calling plays in the second half of the Cardinals game because they were on their way to a super embarrassing loss.
Where's Darren Waller? What happened there? I saw the preseason. The dude was catching everything.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like this is the whole landscape of how the Giants were supposed to be a different team this year was centered around Darren Waller being essentially a number one receiver. And now he's like, you can put him on a milk carton. No one knows where he is.
Yeah, him, the rookie Jalen Hyatt. I mean, loved watching him at Tennessee. I know he's a rookie, but like rookies can come in and make a big, impact in their rookie years at wide receiver. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this team is a one-trick pony. If Daniel Jones doesn't run, there are no first downs. It feels like I've never seen it. They're more dependent on Daniel Jones' legs than Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. That's all they have right now. I don't know if Saquon is going to come in and save the day. By the way, how could another guy? I was surprised Saquon didn't play. And I understand it just felt like he was early in the week. He was trending toward being questionable. Then all of a sudden it goes bad. What's his deal?
Well, I don't know. Hold in. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, listen, Saquon has always tried to, he came back early from an ACL. Can't question that guy's effort. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, we've got the one question no one is asking right now, but they will. Stay tuned. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's destined to get knocked out by Jake Paul. She's destined to film it. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
That's just a little about us. Hey, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, welcome into the show, the new morning show here on CBS Sports Radio. We're so glad to have you, and we've got a lot to get to, including some real dysfunction in Chicago. But Perloff, last night's game, Seahawks take it to the New York Giants. It's hard to tell how good the Seahawks actually were last night because the Giants really put up no fight, specifically the offensive line that allowed 11 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, the play that summed up the whole game to me was they were trying a wide receiver pass with Paris Campbell. So Daniel Jones laterals it to Paris Campbell. There were 11 Seahawks defenders on Campbell before he put his head up to look downfield to throw the ball, and 3 guys sacked him. It felt like the Seahawks had the Giants playbook last night because there was no line protecting them, all sorts of penalties. That is the big question for me. I understand. You picked the Seahawks to win the division. You're into the Seahawks, and it looked great last night. I don't know if I take as much from it because I feel like the Giants imploded in every possible way last night, even though it was in New York. I don't know if the Seahawks are going to be able to repeat that kind of defensive performance.
I know the left tackle and running back were out for the Giants with Andrew Thomas and Saquon Barkley both out, but come on. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks had guys missing on the offensive line also. It can't be that bad when you have 2 guys who are out like that. And again, maybe the Seahawks even left some meat on the bone there because there wasn't a lot of explosive plays. And even Geno Smith did get knocked out of the game at one point with like a knee/ankle situation, but he ends up coming back in and finishing it out. You had another game this season, so that's 2 in 4 games, where people are openly questioning why Daniel Jones is still in the game because the offensive line cannot protect him. And this is a guy who's one of the fastest and most elusive quarterbacks in the league.
I don't know about elusive.
Well, you know,
he
fast.
kind of runs on a straight line. He's a big target. Yeah, this game could have been a little closer. There was a play where Kayvon Thibodeau blocked a pass and he was bobbling it. It would have been a pick 6. I think that the Giants did get a lot of pressure on Geno Smith because of those missing linemen. It honestly is a game that really shouldn't have been a blowout. The Giants are going to look back at the tape and say, gosh, why do we have so many penalties? Why do we have so many mistakes?
Special teams miscues.
Here's my issue with the way this is going to probably be covered is that it's going to be all Daniel Jones. I think people are going to look at Daniel Jones because he got the $80 million guaranteed, and that's what happens. I understand that's how the NFL works. But that excuses the Giants for poor roster building, poor coaching decisions, poor special teams. Oh, my God. The special teams has been a disaster. Remember, they got that block kick that led to a touchdown in the opening week against Dallas. Last night, every punt was an adventure. Felt like the Giants had no idea. Do I fair catch it? Do I let it go? Everything that could go wrong went wrong. So I understand Jones will get the blame, but I do think this is a whole team, whole organization problem.
Can we hear Pete from Brian Dayball, cut 19, please, talking about trying to turn the page after a bad performance like this?
When you're in this position, you have to, you tell it like it is, and you got to move on and get ready for the next week. Again, last week has nothing to do with this week. You can't focus on the stuff that happened in the past. You got to learn from them and obviously do better. We got to play better and coach better on game day. That's what we need to do.
You saw Dayball going over to Daniel Jones at one point after the pick 6, and he's there with the tablet, and he's showing it to Jones, and then he turns around and just throws the tablet on the ground. Like, see, look what you did here. Look how you messed this up. That doesn't help if you're talking about spreading the blame around. It doesn't help when the coach goes over and basically looks disgusted with the quarterback.
Those poor NFL tablets. They always take the brunt of the situation. Is that good marketing when somebody destroys a tablet or not?
I don't know. When Tom Brady destroys it, maybe. When it's Brian Dayball and Daniel Jones, it doesn't have that same oomph, you know?
That's what I do to my dog. When she messes up, I just point to the issue and be like, look what you did. Look what you did. And then my dog just stares at me like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to do it again.
Yes.
What people don't know is after a segment, sometimes Maggie will take her laptop and show it to me and be like, you said you were going to talk about this. What was that take? That made no sense.
Why are you talking about the Phillies again? Last night on the Manning cast, I thought this was funny. We both did. Everyone's trying to recreate the Philadelphia brotherly shove, right?
Yeah.
The tush push, whatever. The Eagles are the only team that can do this. The Giants tried last night, and Peyton Manning was able to diagnose why it was not successful.
See, that guard's got to get his hand more on the butt. He's got to get it up in there a little more. He's not pushing hard enough. He didn't get a push. Yeah. Pre-snap, he's got to have his hand on the butt and then go, right? He waited. You see? He's got no space. No quarterback. No chance that's going to work. You got to push the right butt cheek specifically.
Yeah. I think here's the issue with other teams. It's fear of intimacy. The Eagles are true brotherly love. Yeah. They have no problem, as Peyton said, getting up there.
they will touch each other's butts. They do not care.
Yeah. They will.
For the sake of a first down. I'm sorry. That just reminded me, or it made me think. Imagine, Peyton Manning's always so clinical. Imagine Peyton Manning would be narrating sex. All right, take her leg. He would just be so clinical about it. Sorry, he would. It just it's so matter of fact.
I have this image.
The sheriff,
Yeah, and Eli be. Yeah. Eli be staring dumbfounded at Peyton, explaining that. Eli be like, huh?
Wait, what now? Yeah. See, Eli has really mastered that sort of goofy look on his face, the aw shucks, the Eli face, if you will.
Wow. Didn't know we were going to go there. I mean, when you have a play called the tush push in the NFL.
You're begging for it. I mean, Peyton Manning's the one who started it. It's talking about hands got to be on the right butt cheek. You're right.
Going to need a parental rating on that Manning cast moving forward.
Hand on the butt. The right butt cheek specifically.
How about last night they do a promo early on where Joe Buck's like, and Will Ferrell is about to join the Manning cast, and Troy Aikman goes, or you could just stay here.
And then there was only, I actually listened to Peyton Manning earlier in the day. They had a third surprise superstar guest who canceled. So they only had Sean O'Hara, former Giants lineman. Actually, I don't mind when it's just Peyton and Eli. They'll say weird things to each other.
Yes, got to put the hand on the right butt cheek.
But by the way, this proves that the brotherly shove is a matter of talent and execution. It's not a cheat code if everyone can't do it. So I think you cannot ban it now. And that's one reason I feel pretty confident about the Eagles. 3rd and 1.
It's just over.
Hand us the first down.
3rd and 1, 4th and short. They're going to do it all the time.
Just push the right butt cheek. You're good.
Push the right butt cheek. What are you doing? You're pushing the left butt cheek. You're doing it all wrong. Jeez, Giants.
More on the butt. He's got
to get a grip. Literally on the guy's butt cheek. Hung is in Pennsylvania. Hey, Hung, how you doing?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, could you talk a little bit about Coach Pete Carroll and back to the day when he coached at USC. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches of all time. I don't see nobody can run up and down at 72 years old and has so much energy like that. Coach Carroll, he's the best because I see another coach like Jim Harbaugh from Michigan back to the day with the 49er, but nobody else like him.
Yeah,
he's one
right.
of the best.
to do it on the college level and to be successful on the pro level. That list is very short, Hunk. Thanks so much.
So The Golden Bachelor, which is a show on ABC, features a 72-year-old named Gary. I don't know. Maggie won't watch it. I'm all in, of course.
I'm all in, too. I watch it every week.
Yeah. Did you try The Golden Bachelor? They had their first week
Yes,
last.
I did.
It's a little disturbing. But Pete Carroll is also 72. And I got to tell you, he looks 42. And they showed a picture during the Manning cast of him shirtless with Will Ferrell. That dude. So, Maggie, I want your evaluation of Pete Carroll as a silver fox. What do we got going on there?
No, Pete Carroll looks like he definitely takes care of himself, sprinting up and down the sidelines. I get worried for him how aggressively he's been chewing the gum all these years.
Okay.
Hey, when you miss and bite your tongue, when you're going that hard, that's got to be so painful. And I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. Pete Carroll deserves all credit. I mean, if you're watching last night's game, I think Troy Aikman might have mentioned this. Like, Dayball's the former coach, was the reigning coach of the year. Could that not have been Pete Carroll last year, who everyone thought, including me, that they were tanking and they end up being a playoff team? I mean, if they maybe draw a different team besides the 49ers, maybe they win a game in the playoffs last year?
Well, yeah, I think actually the season ended on a bit of a whimper, though. They had a bad second half. They kind of edged Baker Mayfield and the Rams at the end of the season to get into the playoffs. So I think that it's a momentum thing, too. The Giants got hot, beat the Vikings.
You know, the other thing, too, about the Golden Bachelor, the Silver Fox, whatever.
Yeah.
EJ loves this. Perloff loves this. Bilotti, yes, no?
In the middle.
Oh, okay. Give it a try. Just
Yes.
dipping your toe in the pool.
That's right. Taking a peek.
In the hot tub, if you will.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to save you guys all the trouble. I know who he's going to pick. I've already told Perloff. I know, and I haven't watched 1 second of the show. I don't know any of the contestants. I know nothing. I just know it's a 72-year-old guy and a bunch of like middle-aged women.
Right.
Okay. He's going to pick the youngest looking one. I guarantee it.
Wait,
that's
so-
how this is going to work. Whoever's the youngest looking one out of all those women, I bet you that's who Gary ends up with.
Well, Maggie, you're clearly not a Bachelor fan by saying that, because every Bachelor fan knows that the most attractive person wins, well, especially the women. The most attractive women will win. You know who's going to win.
Well, that's what I kind of mean.
Night.
The youngest, most attractive.
But that's as obvious as saying it's on ABC. We all know that. You got to go much deeper than that.
No. See, this is the whole thing about the guy's older, so you would think that he would actually be choosing a woman who looks a little more mature.
Nobody
and I'm
would think
telling
that.
you, he's going to just pick the youngest looking woman of this crop of people.
There's not a single person in the United States of America who would think that he was going to take the woman who looked more mature. We all knew that.
Yes,
I mean,
only
EJ,
Gary gets to look more mature. Not the women.
I'm right for calling out Maggie. That's an obvious take. Of course he's taking the most attractive one, right?
I mean, probably, but Gary is so sweet. And he does seem like such a nice
you
man.
sucker. You always think
I
that.
am. I mean, look, I've bought into this franchise now for the last 4 or 5 years. So now I didn't know if I'd be into the Golden Bachelor, but now I am. And Gary's story is so heartwarming. He may actually end up picking someone who may not be looking the youngest.
Yeah, he's there for love, EJ. Don't ever forget that.
After the first promo, they had an incredible scene in the look ahead to the future season where he's sitting there crying. He said, "This is the second saddest moment of my life. The first being when my wife died." I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this is supposed to be a fun experience. You're comparing The Bachelor to when your wife died?
That was why I was nervous about this show, because whoever is the main contestant always seems like they go through the worst experience doing this.
Yeah.
It's so painful. So I said, maybe this one they'll try to keep it a lot more calmer, maybe not so intense. And no, this seems like it's going to be more intense than even the seasons with the younger people, because I guess so much is on the line and so much emotion involved.
What happened with age comes wisdom? I feel like everyone would kind of take this in stride, but it is still a television show, so you got to produce tears at some point.
Men don't change.
Wait.
You're forgetting that fact, too.
Here's another thing. While we're talking about butt cheeks and stuff, thanks to Peyton Manning, not me. Peyton Manning brought it up. He's talking about the brotherly shove last night. And why the Giants couldn't execute a proper tush push.
The right butt cheek specifically.
I mean, specifically, Peyton Manning. The fantasy suite?
It's problematic.
We doing that with these older?
They definitely, why not?
Okay, listen, I'm just saying it's
I can think of a good sponsor, a certain pharmaceutical company who could get involved with that.
It rhymes with schmagra.
Nursing home.
I think that, I've watched a little of The Bachelor.
Oh, okay.
Not this one, but I've watched a little of it. And there's always a storyline where one woman's like a virgin and she's not sure about going to the. Can't really play that game when everyone's like 50 and above, right?
No, can't do that. But look, in the fantasy suite, you could just talk. You don't have to do anything. There have been some that people say that nothing went down.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Those people are called liars, EJ.
So let me ask you this, Maggie. If you were a contestant on The Bachelor,
Yeah.
would you have
So this scenario, I'm not married.
You're not married,
Okay.
obviously. Would you? I don't think
I
they would
wasn't
bring
sure.
a married mother of a 4-year-old kid.
It'd be a twist.
Yeah, I'm just here to provide snacks for everybody. What are you going to be doing there?
I'm here for the wine.
Yeah, that could be true. So would you have an issue dating a man who was just in the fantasy suite with one of your friends, like 3 days before?
Yes. I don't want any sloppy seconds.
I don't think you're cut out for The Bachelor, Maggie.
Especially, it'd be one thing if it's like a friend. Maybe I know where they've been. I've got no idea where Laura's been or whoever these chicks are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, by the way, I don't even know. Bilotti, are you married?
Yes, I am.
You
Okay.
just had a second kid.
Oh, right. I did know that. Yeah. So you're out on The Bachelor. EJ, are you married?
Not
No.
married, no, but my girlfriend is why I watch this show. So
Okay.
I'm in a committed relationship.
It's interesting. You're the not married one, but you're the only one who believes in love in this room, obviously. Because Maggie is so cynical.
And maybe it's all downhill from here. I don't know.
No one tell him. Let him figure it out on his own. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. I kid, obviously. We're all happily married on the show. Jeff is in Ohio. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
What do you think about the Bears? Do they trade Justin Fields or do they fire their coaching staff?
Great
I've
question.
been a Bears fan 40-some years, and they've fired better coaches. Look at Lovie Smith, 10-6, they fire him.
I know. And a trip to the Super Bowl, and he gets fired. Jeff, thank you for the call. It's such a great question. Let's hear a little bit from Matt Eberflus. Now, this is just the latest sort of fire that the Bears have to put out. Like, they're a terrible team. We'll get to Justin Fields in a moment. But Eberflus, like, explaining first why Chase Claypool, who, by the way, hasn't been great, but they did trade a second-round pick for him, why he's away from the team.
Right now, we're just having him stay, not be in the building this week. And then again, Ryan does all the trades and transactions, and we'll decide that as we go forward.
Why keep him away? Why keep him away from the team right now? What is the rationale behind that?
Yeah, we just feel that's the best for the team.
Why?
Yeah, it's just like we said, if we're in the building, we feel that's best for the team.
All right. I mean, it sounds like the freaking White House in there. They're like, coach.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fan base, reporters who know they've got a story.
It was 20 minutes of what are you going to do with Claypool? Poor Matt Eberflus. You could tell he's like, I don't want to answer that.
Guys get paid to do that.
To answer the caller's question, both are definitely going to happen. Matt Eberflus is going to get fired, and I think they're going to move on from quarterback as well. You've brought up many times this GM did not draft this quarterback. So I think you have possibly 2 of the top 5 picks because the Bears have their own pick and the Panthers pick. So you're bringing in a high-end quarterback. I think you're going to want an offensive coach to coach that guy. So you're going to have your, pick of try and find the next Sean McVay as an assistant, maybe try and woo Lincoln Riley or an offensive guy from college. And then you basically start over.
I don't know if I'd go the college route. It feels like a lot is at stake here, and there's so much like extra question marks that you have when you bring a guy from college. I know Ryan Day from Ohio State does have pro experience. I don't know if I would go that route. I don't have a great answer for the Bears in terms of what to do. Here's what I know the silver lining is, though. You're going to have 2 picks probably in the top 5. This is the chance to reset. Look at what's going on with Houston. I mean, Houston, total laughingstock. Now they have C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson.
Yeah.
They're resetting this thing. They're winning games they're not supposed to win on paper. That's your best case scenario. You got to hope that you can be the version of the Houston Texans.
Right. Who brought in a new coach. So it's going to
defensive guy, though.
Yeah, but he's a star. I think the guy, obviously, the first name that's going to come to everyone's mind is Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, will be the hottest thing in the whole market next year. So I may be weird in this side of the division, but can you imagine, look at the way the Lions run their offense, have Caleb Williams running that offense in Chicago. I like it.
So here's a question, though, about who will be there for them at number 1. Like, obviously, Caleb Williams is the huge prize of this draft class, and he's looking like he's even better than his Heisman Trophy winning year last season. I mean, his father has come out and said, we got to make sure it's the right situation. I mean, Chicago, nothing about Chicago right now screams right situation unless they make all these moves.
Well, maybe he's saying, if you're going to draft him, you better have an offensive coach who's good that we like. So I hate to give Caleb Williams all the power, but maybe he helps choose the coach. I mean, if that's what it takes to get Caleb Williams, then I think Chicago has to do that.
Yeah, but I don't know why would Lincoln Riley? I mean, he's going to go. I
might
love
not be
Chicago
Lincoln
as
Riley.
a city, but I mean, you're making that switch.
There are lots of good offensive young coaches. I mean, look around the league. The Lions guy is the number one, but the Colts just got Shane Steichen out of Philadelphia. There's got to be 4 or 5 Shane Steichens. Nothing against Shane Steichen, but is it that hard to find a good offensive coordinator right now?
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So much more to do, including more fallout from last night beyond Peyton Manning describing how to properly execute the tush push, the brotherly shove.
Hand on the butt.
Yeah.
The right butt cheek specifically.
Right. Everyone knows that. Come on. I know it. Perloff knows it. Peyton Manning knows it. Come on.
Well, if you have a left-handed quarterback, you're obviously going to the left butt cheek. So if they're going to push Tua, but I think you practice that. That's an awkward day of practice. Hey, what are we working on today? Punt return drill? No, it's the brotherly shove day. I'm feeling sick.
Everyone get close. No closer. No, closer than that. All right, 855-212-4CBS. So much more to do, including, again, more fallout from last night. Seahawks' big win over the Giants. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Defensive Player of the Week is sponsored by the Navy Federal Credit Union, who proudly serves the armed forces, DoD, veterans, and their families. Their members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Defensive Player of the Week. Oh, my God. It's our first time on the new morning show that we're picking the Defensive Player of the Week. And usually Maggie and I, we sort of grind on this. We don't know who to go with.
Yeah.
But this one is an easy one to start.
This is slam dunk. So on the old show, Stu Kovacs used to always pick out the Defensive Player of the Week. Now Pete Pilotti's going to be doing it. I mean, it's got to be Khalil Mack.
Or did he go recency bias with Devin Witherspoon last night of the Seahawks? But it's got to be Khalil Mack.
All right, who was it?
Shotgun snap, cuts back 3, lines right throw, intercepted. It's picked up on the play. Witherspoon, the 5 on the numbers upfield, the 20, the 30, breaks a tackle, 50, angles to the middle, the 30, the 20, far side 10, 5, foot race, touchdown, touchdown.
How has Kevin Harlan not had a heart attack yet? I don't know. The guy's a total pro. All right, so Pete, we're getting to know a little about you. You went with last night's game.
Yeah, I threw a little bit of a monkey wrench in. Everyone was going to go with Mack. I went the other way. I mean, that was a great performance last night with the pick 6 in the third quarter, 2 sacks and 7 total tackles, and then they, of course, had 11 total sacks on Daniel Jones.
Just crazy.
There's some recency bias on Devin Witherspoon. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, of course they got Devin Witherspoon, and they're recreating the Legion of Boom, and he's amazing. I looked back at some mock drafts from last year. Nobody had Witherspoon going to the Seahawks because they already had a really great young quarterback in Woolen. So everyone thought they would go defensive end. Man, they are a smart team. John Schneider, give him credit because that pick last night, I haven't really watched Devin Witherspoon. Troy Aikman started blowing up early in the game, and he delivered. Oh, my gosh, that guy is fast, strong, instinctive. He really feels like a star.
And like playing a bit out of position last night too.
Well, it doesn't feel like he has a position. He's not really a corner. He's not just a cornerback. Feels more like Rod Woodson.
Crazy. Yeah, EJ.
But Witherspoon he has so much juice. It's like crazy. And the smart thing about the Seahawks too is that now you have 2 corners on rookie deals. So you can have these guys playing at an elite level on these kind of not minimum contracts, but contracts that aren't going to be killing you. Now you can kind of spare your money out the rest of that defense and fill it out.
And how sad was it? Jamal Adams finally gets back, and 1 or 2 plays in, has a concussion. That
was scary too.
Yeah,
because,
that was really scary.
He gets like kneed in the head basically, and Adams, who has fought his way back over the last year and a half. I mean, I used to do a weekly interview with Jamal Adams when he was here in New York. Like, he was one of our weekly guests. I mean, dude cares about football. Like, he wants to win. Didn't want to be on the Jets because he's got 2 eyes and understands that the Jets were kind of going nowhere, especially when he was on the team. And got his way to Seattle. They traded 2 first-round picks for him and have nothing to show for it so far.
By the way, I prepared a trivia question off what I thought was going to be Khalil Mack, the Defensive Player of the Week. He had 6 sacks on Sunday.
What's your trivia question?
I think you guys all... Actually, I don't want you to answer. I want to see if the other guys know. Okay. Who has the most sacks in a game of all time in NFL history?
Osi Umenyiora.
Is that your guess? How many?
In a game?
in a single game.
Well, didn't LT have like a game where he had all these sacks, but like they didn't count as sacks?
All right, I have to double check this. I hope I have this
minute.
right. It's definitely
You don't
not
know the
OC.
answer to the trivia question?
Here's a trivia question. I don't know the answer.
Bellotti, do you know the answer?
So are you right? I don't know. Am I right?
OC. I thought he got direct.
I saw someone might have tied him. It's Derek Thomas was 7, right? 1990. I feel like it's a known fact. Derek Thomas has the most sacks in a game. I'll double check this.
Wait a minute. You can't throw a trivia question out there and not know the answer to
well,
it.
you said OC so confidently. I'm like, well, maybe OC tied him.
I think Bogus can help you. He's there.
Hey, Andrew Bogus.
It's
good
definitely
morning.
Derek Thomas.
It's definitely Derek Thomas. I don't know if OC got to 6. A lot of guys have gotten to 6. I think it's 6 total guys have gotten 6 sacks. But the record's definitely Derek Thomas at 7.
Yeah.
And maybe, because I only think it was like 81 or 82 when they started counting sacks. For
Great 82. Point.
Yep.
There might have been a dude before that had more than 7, but the actual record is 7.
Yeah, like Merlin Olsen and all those guys, right? Where they weren't counting the sacks back then.
So, by the way, you're right. OC got 6 and was tied for second with Adrian Claiborne, pull that name out, and Khalil Mack the other day. And Derek Thomas also had 6 in a game. Derek Thomas was a unbelievable force.
And thank goodness that Bogus is here to actually know the answer to the trivia question, unlike Perloff.
I knew the answer, but the way EJ said OC, I'm like, wait, OC tied?
I just remember it being the hugest deal. And I think he like wore out Winston Justice on Sunday Night Football. It was the Eagles game. They played the Eagles. He had 6 sacks on Donovan McNabb.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Blacked it out of your memory.
Yeah, it's
I can confirm that as well.
Perloff has selective memory.
Wait, were any of them faux sacks like Michael Strahan's record sack against Brett Favre?
No, these were real sacks. And McNabb, led to a lot of the angst that you and your Philadelphians had for him.
Bogus, what do you have for us for headlines?
So the Seahawks scored 37 points in each of their previous 2 games. So the pre-Monday Night Football focus was on that offense, especially since the Giants don't play defense and Geno Smith was going back to New York. But it was the Seattle D that was the story last night.
Here's Jones from the shotgun, has a slot to his right side. Here comes the blitz again. Jones steps up. Jones goes down. Ball is out. Jones goes down again. The Giants recover. That ties the record at 11 sacks.
Steve Rabel, Seahawks radio. Yes, 11 sacks, but it felt like 111. Seattle also had 3 takeaways, including rookie corner Devin Witherspoon's 97-yard pick 6 that you just heard. That ended the Giants' last hope of getting back into this game. Geno happy to not have to do the heavy lifting.
The defense played a tremendous game, probably one of the best games I've seen them play. Guys stepped up all around. I mean, Witherspoon had a tremendous day. The defensive line, linebackers, secondary, everybody played a great game, and I think it was a great win for the team.
Geno also happy he didn't get hurt worse when Isaiah Simmons dragged him down from behind with Geno's legs getting caught underneath him. This happened in the second quarter.
Initially, I really just was, kind of in shock a little bit, just from being rolled up on and having my leg pretty much trapped under the guy. And so there was, some slight pain. But overall, I was just happy that I, came out okay.
Geno missed the last 2 drives of that first half. He did some trash talking, eventually took a taunting penalty. He called the hit dirty post-game, said it had no place in the game. The 24-3 final has his team on a 3-game win streak. The Giants, meanwhile, 1-3. With the Dolphins and Bills coming up next. Miami will not have left tackle Teron Armstead for that game this weekend. That's at least 1 game absence for him. He hurt his knee over the weekend in Buffalo. And the Patriots, they're losing and they're banged up. Rookie corner Christian Gonzalez out indefinitely with a reported dislocated shoulder from Sunday's embarrassment in Dallas. Now, your feelings are your feelings. When you miss out on Damian Lillard, maybe you show up to media day as the bassist of Fall Out Boy, or maybe you talk some trash, especially if you're Tyler Hero and Portland didn't think you were good enough to give up Lillard.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm ready to just play the best. Portland ain't the best, so I'm not really worried about Portland.
Oh, okay. Blazers don't matter to Tyler Hero. He almost was one of them, but now they're a complete non-entity.
I mean, this is going to be like wash, rinse, repeat, right? We're just going to get Tyler Hero trade rumors from now till the end of time. He's like the new, this happens to guys all the time. You become like the most popular person in a trade. Like, what's his face from the Hawks was like this. John Collins was in every trade, and now it's going to be Tyler Hero in every trade.
Well, and also Hero brings a lot of personality to. Remember how he dressed during last year's playoff run? You didn't like it? I thought he looked awesome. EJ, Tyler Hero looked good last year, right?
Absolutely not. Your team's on a real playoff run, and you look like that. Look, your guy, you hate Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was dressed like the same way, and he got killed. Now we're going to give Tyler Hero credit.
Ben Simmons is the worst offensive player in the entire NBA. Tyler Hero is a baller. I can't wait for him to show up Portland.
Tyler Hero might be the worst defensive player in the NBA.
Fair.
He's got some competition there. I just think that it takes a lot to pull off a bucket hat or whatever. Those hats.
Hero did it.
They don't look good on everybody. Like, you just got to take a memo here. It's not for everyone.
Did you see that yesterday? Hero had the headband and big poofy hair coming out of the headband. I thought again he was pulling it off. I assume you guys did not like the look at all.
No, this.
I mean, it wasn't Jimmy Butler, but it was a look.
No, but Jimmy Butler. I mean, this was like a whole. This was a vibe that he was giving off. The hair looked emo. He was in his feelings. He's got multiple piercings on his face. Like, this dude is living it. Tyler Hero's acting.
Did you guys hear his new nickname for Jimmy Butler?
Who's that?
Ball Out Boy.
Love it.
Instead of Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, Backboard Boy I've heard too. Yeah.
I heard Jimmy Butler Eat World.
Yeah.
Jimmy Eat World.
It's so perfect.
So if Hero's the new trade guy, though, what's the next guy he's going to be connected to? Like, who's the next Heat target?
Oh, man. I mean,
it's not Harden, right?
I don't think so.
No.
So,
it's the Clippers or bust
not
for Harden.
Officially out there yet?
Wow.
I get the feeling Trae Young's going to get moved, and the Heat are going to need a point guard.
I'd say Trae Young. Are people talking about Paul George? Could Paul George get moved? I don't know.
I feel like the thing about the Heat is they're already small. I don't understand why they were after Damian Lillard in the first place. Who's helping Bam Adebayo up front? Now that Milwaukee's reloaded and Boston is completely reloaded, I don't understand what the Heat are doing. So Jimmy Butler shows up with this look. No one's asking him, do you think you can defend as Eastern Conference champions? Is anyone picking the Heat to go back to the finals?
Nobody was picking them in the first place. They were an 8 seed that made it all the way to the finals. It was ridiculous. And they did it all without Tyler Hero, which is why he's in every trade rumor ever.
They have a 6'4" power forward. They don't even have a power forward. I mean, Kevin Love is their other big guy. Weird team to me.
Well, yesterday he deadpanned with this emo look, said, I guess I'm just going to have to beat Giannis and Damian Lillard and new coach Adrian Griffin. It looked weird seeing him do it with like the black fingernails and the hair.
Was he wearing eyeliner?
It looked like he might have been.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe he put it on at some point. But he said that we're going to win a championship this year. He said this year we're going to get it done.
Man, I would love it if, you know how like they always put the camera on NBA players when they're walking into the arena to try to get their outfits? Like, can we just pick an outfit of the day? Like, can it be Halloween every time he walks in? Be like a different, I don't know, musician or something? Like, come on, Jimmy, save us.
I went down to a Heat game once. Jimmy Butler has a totally different pregame ritual. He doesn't come out with the team. He does his own thing. He's definitely I don't want to say weird. He's a very individual person. There's no other Jimmy Butler. I think it's...
He lives in a van in the off season.
It's definitely working. I'm curious. Aren't you guys dying to see? Is Tyler Hero going to be good on this team? Like, is there a vengeance tour coming up for Tyler Hero? Is that possible?
It's a strong don't care for me. Bogues, what else you got?
The dude scored 20 points a game. He was sixth man. Wasn't he most improved or sixth man of the year?
I don't know. I mean, the most important people playing for the Heat outside of Jimmy Butler were dudes who were undrafted who went to colleges we've never heard of.
Tyler Hero is going to make the All-Star game this year.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he got paid. I don't know. He's a sixth man of the year. He's gotten some accolades. I just think,
the fact that he's sitting out there on the trade market and he's going to probably score 24 points a game for the Heat, I think he's probably one of the most interesting players. And I'm probably eyeing him for the Sixers. That's why I say that.
Bogues, what else we got?
I'm still loving your quick, yes, no thanks for me. Let's move on.
Sorry.
It's a good dismissal of Tyler Hero. I like that. In case you missed the info session in hour one, Devin Vassell is an NBA basketball player. Specifically, he plays for the Spurs, and he averaged 18.5 points a game for them last season. He therefore rewarded yesterday with a 5-year, $146 million rookie extension. And baseball's postseason begins today. Rangers Rays at 3 Eastern, Blue Jays Twins at 4:30, Arizona Milwaukee at 7, and the Marlins play at 8. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, don't care who the opponent is, just the Marlins play at 8.
Doesn't matter.
Another outstanding update. Thank you so much for that.
What's your problem with Tyler Hero? Let's break this down.
I actually don't have a problem with him. It's just I can't do this with another round of trades, like trade rumors with this dude. I did love his tweet the other day when Dame did go to Milwaukee, and he tweeted out, "I'm from Wisconsin. Even I'm going to get a Dame jersey."
That's good.
It was pretty good.
I'm looking, by the way, at the Spurs stats. Fascinating. Utterly fascinating. Who are these people? They have about 8 guys who scored 10 points a game. Maybe Wembanyama will eat up a lot of points and win Rookie of the Year. Of course, if he does win Rookie of the Year, I have to drive to San Antonio. Another bet that I
To
might
apologize
lose.
to him in person.
But I feel no nervous about it. That bet's easy. I'm not driving to San Antonio. He is not going to win Rookie of the Year because the Rookie of the Year is clearly in Portland. Scoot Henderson's winning.
It looks like Scoot's got the inside track. Remember, you got to play at least, 50 games, don't you?
Is that rule? Are all those rules in effect now?
I think it's 50 games to be.
I believe it's 65.
I'm sorry, 65 to be considered for any postseason award. So Wembanyama's got to play 65 games. Is he going to play 65 games his rookie year?
No.
No chance, right?
No.
I don't know.
I kind of want to sign up to drive to San Antonio with you if necessary, if it happens.
Yeah, the food's
a lot of
great in
pavement
San Antonio.
in the car with you two. A lot of Dave Matthews Band, a lot of pavement, you two dads.
Yeah, I found out last night. I got excited because Bogus tweeted that he likes the same kind of bands I do. But then I asked about Pavement. You said you weren't so sure.
Well, somebody else suggested Pavement. I'd have to get up to speed before the San Antonio road trip. But if it happens, I will be prepared. Deep tracks only for the ride from New York to Texas.
But you seem more like a Fish Dave Matthews Band kind of guy.
Dave, yes. Fish, no. I feel like an intruder for Fish. I'm too late to that. They're too far down the road. I don't need to involve myself in that. There's too much catching up. They can have their own fun without me.
Yeah, that's 20 years of acid that you haven't been doing that you would need to do to get up to speed on what they're got going on.
Just to let you know who I am a little bit more, there's nothing I hate more than jam bands. I cannot stand a long guitar solo. I just want to stab myself in the ears.
And that's why you and Bill Walton will never have a relationship.
No, we do not like the same kind of music.
Yeah. What a shame. Speaking of show bets, so we got to wait a while to see if Wembanyama is actually going to win Rookie of the Year. We do not have to wait at all for Perloff to pay off one of his show bets. That happens on Friday. Mark your calendars. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Perloff has to pay off a bet. He has to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands. That will happen live around the 8 o'clock Eastern hour when Perloff will eat Skyline chili with no hands. He lost a bet to me that Joe Burrow would take less money than Justin Herbert. I mean, fish in a barrel. I knew that Burrow was going to take more money. And
get out of here.
Because of that, Perloff has to eat the chili and not me.
First of all, you're gloating over $400,000 on a $700 million contract is totally ridiculous. I mean, we all know I wanted to eat the chili. I do. I'd rather use a fork or a spoon, but
it's not an option, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to look like your 4-year-old son afterwards.
You will. It's gonna be awesome. So that happens on Friday. Perloff eats Skyline chili with no hands. Okay, a lot more to get to, including the one person on earth who is not impressed with Deion Sanders. We found him. And you'll be maybe shocked to learn who it is. We get to that in just moments. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff, your new morning show on CBS Sports Radio. Hope your day's off to a great start. If not, we'll fix that. Let's get to our Daily Dion.
Daily. Do you believe that? Dion. You believe that?
It is the biggest story in sports. One of them. So we update you on Deion Sanders every single day on this show because we lean in around here. So we may have actually found, Perloff, the two people, or at least the one person who is not impressed with Deion Sanders. This comes courtesy of the Nuggets Media Day yesterday. First, you're going to hear Jamal Murray speak, and then Nikola Jokic.
The team went to go see yesterday or Saturday. Yeah. I wasn't there, though, no.
Nicole, do you know much about Deion Sanders?
Sort of.
And that's it. Jokic, not a Deion guy. Probably because he has no idea who Deion Sanders is, and I totally 100% believe it.
Yeah, if Deion was raced ponies over in where Jokic lives in the offseason, that dude came back to training camp, clearly did not touch a basketball all season long. He's just been living his best life. I think
he's dancing on tables and clubs and doing his Jokic dance. It was awesome.
I think his laissez-faire attitude helps him. I think he does not get bothered by anything that all the other NBA players, to borrow Jimmy Butler, are total emos. And Jokic just doesn't care. He's like, I have a job to do, and that is to score baskets and have 1 million assists, and I'm going to come out here and do it. And he looks like he's in good shape, which makes me think all this sort of attitude from Jokic, they're a dangerous team again. He could repeat because nothing is bothering that man.
It's just so funny that the whole world has kind of been swept up with this Colorado thing and Deion Sanders, and you had Aaron Gordon and a lot of the Nuggets players, as you heard Jamal Murray say, half the team was at the game against USC on Saturday, and Jokic just like, don't know, and quite frankly, don't care.
It is funny, too, because Denver is the NBA champion, and Colorado is getting about 100 times more attention than the Nuggets. I was thinking, if it's a Tuesday night and the Nuggets are on TNT playing the Spurs, I'm not watching that. But Deion could have a practice on TV, and I'm watching that. Like
40,000 people show up to the Colorado Spring game.
Yeah, the Buffaloes are so much more interesting than the Nuggets.
I know. They play Arizona State this week, and it's probably like, what other actors are going to show up? Although I think that one is on the road, right? Yes, it is. So we found the one person, Nikola Jokic, not impressed because he's blissfully unaware of what's going on with Deion Sanders in Colorado. Yeah, big game against Arizona State. Not really. This should be a winnable one, though, for Colorado.
So I'm seeing it open at 6-point spread, Colorado favored, and now it's down to 4.5, but Arizona State's terrible. I still come back to what Sean King of Visa Network, former NFL quarterback, said. Vegas is still just guessing on Colorado. Totally. And even in that game against USC, it was 34-7. I'm like, oh my God, this is the easiest cover I've ever seen in my life. I'm so jealous of people who bet on USC. And then they didn't even come close to covering.
I know. That was a crazy game. All the celebrities in the house. And now we'll see what happens when Colorado goes on the road to play a team that they are favored against. I got a question for you guys. So we're 2 days into this morning show. We're not even 2 full days. Okay. And I already have a question about morning etiquette. And here's what it is. So I live out in kind of like a more rural area. I would call it exurbs, like beyond the suburbs, if you will. Okay. I live in a place where like there's like a horse farm down the street. So I'm driving here now very early. I leave my house at 4:00 in the morning. That's not true. I leave my house at 5:00 in the morning. I'm sorry. I can't even understand what time it is. It's early. There's nobody on the road. So I'm not talking about like merging into a highway. I'm not talking about a crazy intersection. I'm talking about a very sleepy intersection in my little town that I live in. If it's a red light and it's 5:00 in the morning, can I just run that? Can't I just like go through it?
What do you have any drugs in the car? What's the status? Yes. Are you high? Because there's a lot of calculus here.
Yeah, no, I've got a car seat in the back that's empty. My kid's not in it. I do not have drugs or any kind of paraphernalia in the car.
Yeah, you're fine then. Oh, and if you do have drugs, just have a little hole in the bottom of the car that you can drop them out of.
Just eat them all. Well, yeah.
I think you should run it. I definitely think you should run it.
Because I'm kind of sitting there and I'm waiting for the thing to click down 15, 14, 13. There's not a car in sight. And again, I'm not advocating for this in like a busy intersection or like over train tracks or anything like that. This is just my little sleepy town. Why do I got to stop at these red lights at 5:00 in the morning? Nobody's there. I mean, I know what the law says.
But I'm actually a little confused. You live in New Jersey. Aren't people commuting into New York City at that hour?
Once I get onto the highway, then it's,
then it's
free
chaos.
for all. Yeah, it's like trucks, and I'm like getting jostled around on a 3-lane highway. But no, in my little town, there's nothing.
Yeah, I think you got to run it. And you know what? To the point where I'll split the ticket with you.
Really?
Yeah, because I think this is now a show thing. We need you here on time. Anything
Every
that could get you here
second
faster.
counts in the morning, Is anyone else?
Is there any chance though they might have cameras? Like that would concern me. That if they have speed cameras, they can get your license plate and you're gone. They got
you. Could see those.
Right?
You could see those.
Also, your GPS might tell you if there's a camera, a red light camera ahead.
It would be my luck that there is a camera, and I just have never noticed it before.
You should scout out the areas of the intersections that you're thinking about running and see if there's cameras.
Or somebody out of nowhere comes speeding by, which just out of nowhere.
And let's see if they get a ticket.
By the way, I got a ticket yesterday.
You did?
Yeah. You're not going to believe this. This might be relatable. My state inspection was 1 day late. It was due at the end of they got me on October 1st. And I was parked for a half hour on a Sunday. So I figured it was a Sunday. There'd be nobody out.
They're targeting you.
I don't know how they got me.
Isn't there a grace period? Don't you get a little bit, a week or two?
That's what I thought. They were 1 day onto this $65 ticket. And since
I will not split that with you.
That's where I was getting at. But
you're on your own.
That's something you don't think about. They can nail you for that too. Because I am going to get into the parking game here in New York City in the morning.
You're going to start driving to the show?
I think I'm going to start driving. I haven't driven yet to the new show, but it's so easy. The streets are empty. It feels like a lot of parking. What could possibly go wrong?
Give it a try. Give it a try. I promise you're going to have a good time.
Wait, Bilotti, is there an issue with it?
Get ready to pay some meters. Let's tell you that much.
Okay. Well, that you can do.
Well, not really. It's in the middle of the show. I'm not.
There's apps.
Yeah, there's apps.
Hold that thought on Tyler Hero. I got to go down and pay the meter.
Yeah. Wait, another trade rumor with Tyler Hero? You can take this segment off. And so can I. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Poll question maybe, EJ? At Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. Is it okay to run a red light at 5 o'clock in the morning if there's no one in sight?
Actually, do you really want on the record that you're doing that just in case there's a court case down the road?
Actually, forget I mentioned anything and erase this from the podcast.
I didn't hear anything.
Thank you. Coming up. Oh, fallout from last night. And it ain't good for one team. We'll get to it in just moments. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She once fell off a ski lift. He was called in for questioning. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
We never did get to the bottom of that. Hey, welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We are the new morning show on CBS Sports Radio, and so glad to have you. Last night, one thing became clear. The Giants are not a very good football team. So let's leave that to the side and focus on the victor, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. Perloff, it might not be as good. The defense might not be as ferocious as they showed last night with 11 sacks, but clearly this is a more than competent football team. This is a football team that can travel because defenses can travel. They were able to overcome some injuries on their offensive line. It wasn't explosive plays necessarily, but it was enough to gut out a win on the road against a team they could be vying, or we thought were going to be vying for a wild card spot against.
But is this defense really all that? Are we really seeing the Legion of Boom too? Obviously, they got killed by the Rams in week 1. They went 37-31 in overtime to the Lions in week 2. No great defensive showing there. Then Andy Dalton led Carolina to 27 points. Now, Seahawks won that game 37-27. But the Giants is the first time this defense has looked dominant. So are we really judging them based on the Giants, who had their left tackle out, no Saquon, and really were just a mess? They didn't seem like they were mentally ready to play a football game last night. So I cannot sort of translate this into what some people are saying the Legion of Boom is reincarnated with this team. Yeah, they looked amazing last night. Does not mean that much to me.
Yeah, I think it could be somewhere in between. It doesn't have to be Legion of Boom 2.0, but I do think they are a good defense. And I think the reason why maybe you're going to start to see it now is because they're relying on so many young players. I know you do have the Bobby Wagners of the world who are there as veterans, but you saw Devin Witherspoon last night with the pick six. He was all over the field. This dude is just starting his NFL career. It's going to take a couple games to get this thing rolling. Maybe the Seahawks do the inverse of what happened last year. Last year, they got off to this really hot start and then kind of cratered down the stretch when the run game started to kind of disappear. Maybe they do the opposite this year where they get a little stronger in the second half of the season.
Well, they are 3-1, but it's just it's a confusing one. I like what you said about a middle ground because I think their offense is more explosive actually than they were in the Legion of Boom. Gino's pretty accurate, pretty good. The receivers are great. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. I don't understand their rookie JSN.
Yeah.
Why is he there? It was an interesting pick. 21. They had 2 first-round picks. Devin Witherspoon, a star. JSN's done nothing for them. Jackson Smith and Jigba out of Ohio State. He was on the field last night and really
barely.
Not a factor. Instead, their rookie, Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA, second-round pick running back, he looks like a star along with Kenneth Walker. They have the pieces, Maggie, but I'm not anointing them as a real threat yet.
Here is Pete Carroll talking about his team still getting better, still learning.
With a lot of hope and looking toward the future and developing the young guys, keep seeing them able to play a role for us just gives us the confidence that we're going to keep getting better. So we're not a finished product. We're just getting rolling. And it's really exciting to be able to tell you that because it feels like it.
There you go. And Pete Carroll, reinventing this team. I always think it's so funny because earlier in the season, we've had, remember DJ Reed from the Jets said that the Jets defense was going to be the 85 Bears? And then we had a lot of LT Micah Parsons comparison. So like you got a lot of guys who are looking at defenses now and comparing them to the old school, like all-time great defenses.
Dallas with a Doomsday D?
Yes.
Reincarnated again?
Meanwhile, the Legion of Boom might be getting recreated right in front of us. And like, there we go. The Seahawks just sort of did that on the DL.
But you're not really recreating the Legion of Boom
It's
because
different.
you're never going to have part of the Legion of Boom was Cam Chancellor was going to destroy your receiver. You just absolutely cannot do that in today's NFL. Jamal Adams played a little bit last night, got concussed.
Yep.
He's not even that style of blow you up safety. He's a more versatile guy. So I don't think you're really going to be able to dominate a game like the Legion of Boom did. And by the way, Bobby Wagner was part of that.
Yeah, of course he was. He's still playing.
Yeah, I understand. But this was Daniel Jones. Everybody looks like the Legion of Boom against him. You know the key to reincarnating these great defenses is to play against the New York Giants. You could have the Killer Bees, the Steel Curtain,
Purple People Eater. They got
Purple
everybody,
People
yeah.
Eaters. They all would be back against the Giants. I don't know if they could do it. They play the Bengals next. The Seahawks have a bye. Then the Bengals, if Joe Burrow is not himself, hey, maybe they'll look Legion of Boomish again.
Well, this is how you know it's bad. This is, can we play cut number 14, please, Pete? This is Devin Witherspoon talking about Daniel Jones. This is a rookie talking about a guy who just signed a $90 million contract guaranteed.
We were just trusting the game plan the coach laid out for us. We knew he liked to stare down his first target, so he had his back turned. A lot of guys just win their one-on-one matchups up front, man. Shout out to our D-line. Without them, we couldn't have made the plays that we made.
Ouch. Ouchie. That's when your rookie knows on the scouting report that your hopefully franchise quarterback is staring down his first target. That's a big no-no in the NFL.
No, that's not good. By the way, pulled some other nicknames of defenses.
Well,
Monsters of the Midway.
New York Sack Exchange.
Sack Exchange. The Orange Crush.
Yep.
Denver in the 70s. I think we need more team nicknames. Unfortunately, there's no defense in the NFL today.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Fearsome Foursome.
I think it's a 7-on-7 drill.
Fearsome Foursome. No name defense in Miami on the undefeated team. This stuff is great. We need a new name for the Legion of Boom.
All right,
EJ, you're good with this
everybody
stuff.
get on this.
I love nicknames. I mean, teams. New nicknames for teams?
The Legion of Spoon off of Witherspoon. He'd really have to be good, though. He'd really have to emerge as the best player.
Here's what I like. The Grits Blitz of the forgotten defense of the 1977 Atlanta Falcons. Why didn't you bring that up, Maggie? You love the 77 Falcons.
It's my favorite team. I have all their jerseys. 855-212-4CBS. Let's go to Carla with a K, who's in Idaho. Good morning, Carla.
Good morning. Welcome to the early drive time.
Oh, we're so happy to be here. I think mornings really suit us. What's on your mind today?
Well, I was listening to you talking about should you or should you not run the red light, and kind of was going to advise against it because, I think in that early of the morning, if there is a cop around, they are doing absolutely nothing, and they would love to do nothing more than pull you over and give you a ticket.
Carla, it's a great point. I was saying earlier in the last segment that I now drive to work extremely early, and I live in a very small town, rural, exurbs, like beyond the suburbs. And I'm sitting there at 5 a.m. at a red light. There's not a soul in sight here. I'm not talking about merging onto a highway. I'm not talking about a big intersection. This is a small intersection. I'm sitting at the red light, and I feel like a sucker. Why shouldn't I just run the red light? But you're right, Carla. If there is a cop there, I'm a sitting duck. Like I'm fresh meat.
Exactly. I get it because on my way to the gym, like at 4:40 in the morning or 4:20, whatever time it is, I'm sitting there waiting. I get it. There are times I've wanted to run the red light, but I do know of a story of someone who was just slightly over the speed limit at 4:00 in the morning and got pulled over and given a ticket. So, you just want to be careful.
Thank you for the heads up. See, we're figuring out who our friends are around here. Everyone else on the show told me, just do it. Carla's here. She's really got my back, telling me to, be careful. I might get pulled over. Thank you, Carla. Have a great morning. Appreciate that.
Well, we don't know the situation. You gotta spell out. Are there cops in your town?
Sure. I don't know what they do. No, of course there are cops in our town, and I appreciate them so much. They keep us safe.
I don't know. I saw a picture of your house. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
I know.
I don't even know if they're going to be able to get to your house if you hear a knock in the middle of the night. Except now that you're up you're not going to hear a knock in the middle of the night because you're already up in the middle of the night.
I was actually driving, and it was kind of down this spooky road, so it's dark. I got the fog coming up a little bit, and I was like, "Ooh, this is spooky." I'm always on the lookout for deer because we live in the Northeast. But I was like, what's scarier here? Like, an animal runs out into the road. That would be shocking, and that would suck. I'm like, what if I see a person walking down the road? Then I'm like, what happens if someone's like car is broke down and they flag me down? What do you do?
Well, they're definitely
keep driving.
They're definitely wearing like a long raincoat, maybe a hat. They have weird
Carrying,
facial
like,
hair.
knife.
That's the only kind of people who walk around at that hour.
Like, what do I do if someone's broken down on the side of the road?
Sounds like a scene from Get Out. I would be scared to death.
I think I just go, right? Scoot, scoot. Terry's in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi, Terry. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. So from being an Uber driver, I run into this problem daily.
Yes.
And so, yes. So the workaround here is if you can, take a right on red and then immediately just do a U-turn as long as there's no U-turn signs posted, like no U-turn signs posted. And then you've got the green light going the other direction. If you want to turn right and keep going that way, you can, or you can go with the green light and the flow of traffic that way. Although it depends on which way you're heading.
Man, Terry, thank you for putting some real thought into this. I appreciate that. What a life hack. Thank you for the call. It's not going to work for my particular intersection, but that was a really good idea.
I'm sorry, I missed something. How does this work exactly?
Take a right on red, and then just, if there's nobody in the middle of the intersection, take a right on red, but then you can just sort of take a U-turn and get going the way you need to go.
And you're going with the green then.
Yeah, and then you're on a green.
That's
at a four-way stop.
But a cop could still pull you over for that. Then you're getting caught for reckless driving.
It's a major dangerous maneuver.
Yeah.
Then you're going to jail. So have fun with all that.
Yeah, because the cops are definitely looking for drinkers at that hour. And I think that move makes you seem more suspicious.
Yeah.
I would wonder if, like, doing all that stuff would be longer than just waiting for the light, right?
Yeah.
At a certain point?
Totally.
Because you got to go a little bit further down the intersection to make the U-turn. You can't just go, 10 yards and say, all right, U-turning right at the top of this intersection.
I'm actually going to just do donuts right in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift. Maggie.
I know. Look at me. I'm Vin Diesel.
How long are these lights?
Well, one counts down from 15 seconds.
Oh, my.
Listen, every second counts. We're doing a morning show
15
now.
15 seconds.
You guys are going to learn about this.
It does.
Wait.
I'm impatient.
Bilotti, you drive in too?
I do.
From Jersey?
No. From Long Island.
Oh.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want to do, sir.
Every second does count. Yeah, you need every little second to sleep and every little second to get ready. Maximize your time.
This is what I'm learning.
What are you doing to get ready?
For me, it's like I'm starting to have everything laid out the night before and basically jump right into it. In 9 minutes, get out the door so I have more time to sleep and then hit the road.
It is. We do take on a very superhero-like quality. Not to pat ourselves on the back. I'm not saying we fight crime. I'm saying it's superhero-like in that you sort of have to jump into your clothes and then just go.
That's right.
It is.
It's like Superman getting changed in a phone booth. You know,
it's the opposite of superhero. We are so far from superheroes. And by the way, we get to do all this to come in and talk about sports and Taylor Swift.
I know.
There are many superheroes out there, and we are not four of them.
Just how we get dressed. That's
and
the
Bilotti,
only thing.
I'm just saying that you do not spend a lot of time on hair prep.
No.
Yes,
that helps. That helps. That maximize my time.
Is that why you're shaved bald? Because you're like saving a minute in the morning?
He actually would have a full head of hair.
Yeah.
This is all for the convenience.
Superhero.
Like Kobe.
They don't all wear capes.
Yes. As I said, I'm running red lights, jumping to clothes, and not helping people who are broken down on the side of the road at 5 a.m. Nothing about me screams superhero.
Yeah. If the cop pulls you over, you're going to say, well, I have to get in. We're debating what's better, the NFC West or the NFC East. He's like, oh, well, if that's the case, first of all, it's the NFC West. And second of all, please go.
Officer, please.
I'll give you an escort.
Is it too much Taylor Swift or too little?
Yeah.
Let us know. 855-212-4CBS. Yes, we were supposed to talk about which division is best in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I know. You're feeling your NFC West right now, but it's early. It's 4 weeks. The East is the beast, Maggie. That's what I told the cop this morning.
Let you go. Clearly, that guy was not a New York Giants fan. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So much to get to, including the one sound that we have not heard today, but is hilarious. Well, we've heard it. We got to share it with you. Don't move. Maggie Perloff. Oh, quickly, before we go to break, Friday, Andrew Perloff pays off his bet to me and to all of us, really. He will eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands. He lost the bet on whether Joe Burrow would sign a bigger contract than Justin Herbert. He loses. He's got to eat Skyline chili with just his face.
I can't wait.
I've
never had Skyline chili. Skyline chili is the most famous dish in Cincinnati, but it's very polarizing because it's got a lot of liquid.
Yeah.
It's more like a soup, which is going to be difficult / dangerous.
Yes, you're worried about your health.
Yeah. Should I wear goggles? Should I have one of those scuba breathing apparatuses? Yeah. Do I need a snorkel?
I'd love it if you came in a snorkel. That would really just.
But I'm not sure how you
thing.
eat with a snorkel. I've actually thought about this.
Yeah, you can't use the snorkel as a spoon either. There's no utensils in this thing.
Yeah, I'm just worried about protective eyewear too. Chemical wash. Do we have a nurse on site?
Chemical wash.
Bilotti, are you a trained medic?
No.
And turns out terrible in an emergency. As am I. So good luck.
But Bilotti got all that extra sleep because he doesn't have to do his hair in the morning. I figured
4 extra minutes.
Yeah, exactly. By running all those red lights and not having to do his hair. 855-212-4CBS. Again, Friday, Perloff eats the chili. Coming up, the funniest sound from the morning. We get to that in just moments. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff, where some of us are well rested because we break the law in the morning or about to break the law.
I'm just asking questions.
Other of us spend 4 minutes getting ready in the morning, how do you shower within 4 minutes?
I shower for 90 seconds in the morning.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like I get everything done.
No, I wasn't saying you. I was saying Bilotti put out his schedule. There definitely was not a shower in your TikTok there.
There is.
Yeah.
It's in and out. If it's in the morning, it's in and out, or I shower at night.
Got it.
Right. So my dilemma is I live in the exurbs, like beyond the suburbs. Now we're doing a morning show right here on CBS Sports Radio. I'm Maggie. That's Perloff. And I'm sitting there at red lights at 5 o'clock in the morning, and nobody's around. There's not a soul in sight. So can't I just run that red light? You know, I'm not hurting anybody. This is not an unsafe situation. It's just me in the open road. John is in Colorado. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Excellent. What do you have for us?
Well, hey, I've been a truck driver, owned my own truck for 40 years. I would go to work anywhere from 3:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Our guy.
All you guys have to do is get up earlier. I mean, you're not building a piano here. It's not rocket science.
John,
I mean, if you get out there and everybody on the road is in a hurry.
I know, but John, Perloff has a hair and makeup team that has to attend to him every morning. John, thank you for the call. Stay safe on the roads there and appreciate that. I mean, this is perfection here. This takes a while.
Man, he was telling it like it is. Just wake up earlier.
What do you say? We're not building pianos.
I just said we were superheroes.
I know.
I have a way you could do this. Put on the hazards.
Now that's something. See, this is solution oriented.
Why are you putting on the hazards to run a red light?
Because there's something wrong with your car.
Yes. Not really.
And then you turn the hazards off and just drive down the road?
Yes. And once I'm clear.
Just clear it.
Feels like bad karma.
That's
it
bad
does.
karma?
To put hazards on to run a red light?
What's some hazard lights between friends?
It's only bad karma to me. If I do it, something will happen to me. I'll get about 5 tickets later on.
Yeah, right. That's what goes around comes around. I don't think that's bad karma. That's just beating the system. All right.
Oh, no.
Let's bring in Andrew
Maggie.
Bogish has got our headlines for this morning. Good morning, Bogues. How are you?
I'm well, and I have definitely done the right on red trick and to avoid a light. That's completely acceptable, legal, in fact, encouraged, I would say, at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, the red light, and then once you're in the clear, just U-turn so that you're actually going through a green light. It's something.
So at least in my scenario, I can then make I make the right on red, and then I make a quick left, and then another quick left, and now all I've done is gone around the light, and now I'm back on the road I want to be pretty quickly, because the light I'm stopped at, and it happens every single morning, it feels like it's 2 minutes long. There's 2 different countdowns. It's a big intersection. It counts down to stop one crossing and then a second one. And because I'm crossing the bigger road.
Yeah, Bogish, we're not talking about doing this in front of a massive intersection, dude. I can't be responsible if something like that happens. I've also realized what our next job could be. We have a future career, bank robbers. I mean, we're figuring out all the shortcuts here and how to get through all these red lights, I think. Let's just knock over a Chase or something.
I'll get the getaway car. No
there you
problem.
go.
Happy to do it.
What do you have?
Not that anyone has sympathy for New York sports teams, but there are two teams that have yet to run a play while leading this NFL season. Again, they have not run a play with the lead through 4 games, and those two teams are the Giants and the Jets. But at least the Mets and Yankees are in the playoffs. Oh, nope, they suck too. My bad. Back to Monday Night Football. The Seahawks running over those Giants 24-3, sacking Daniel Jones 10 times. He also committed 3 turnovers, one of which was Devin Witherspoon's 97-yard pick six, which took Big Blue off life support. But at least Jones sounded upbeat postgame.
Thought it was soft, trying to find someone in the zone, and poor decision on that. Can't afford to make that mistake.
That dude is broken. His team has now lost by 40. That was to the Cowboys, 18 at the Niners, and then by 21 last night.
Not bad.
To a team, by the way, who was coached by Pete Carroll, the oldest head coach in the NFL, but his team had him looking and sounding young last night.
Oh, we had so much fun tonight. Golly, that was fun playing football.
Seattle also dodged the bullet with Geno Smith escaping major injury in the second quarter when Isaiah Simmons dragged him down from behind. Smith's legs got caught underneath him. He eventually missed the last 2 series of the first half, but was back for the third quarter. So we already learned that Nikola Jokic didn't celebrate his NBA title by studying Dion and college football. Other Nuggets did a lot of trash talking all summer, which did not sit well with Anthony Davis.
It was just so much of that going on. Like, all right, we get it, y'all won. But, I think, me and Bron had some conversations like, we can't wait.
So Tyler Hero hates the Blazers. Davis and LeBron hate the Nuggets. I guess in particular, Davis was bothered by the Nuggets during pregame intros calling Michael Malone, their head coach, the Lakers' daddy. So that's one of the things that they have remembered and are pointing towards this season. Now, this is actual drama. Hero versus Blazers is nothing, but Lakers Nuggets is definitely something.
Is it though? Are the Lakers there? We were just going over the West, Bogus. The Suns are great. The Lakers look really good. You got the Mavs, the Grizzlies, maybe the Kings, all sorts of teams.
You mentioned the Warriors.
The Warriors.
Okay, so I'm concerned about Phoenix because that's like an injury waiting to happen. I do think that the Lakers Nuggets could be a thing. I mean, the Nuggets swept the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Like we've got some drama here.
That's a blowout. That's not a thing.
The game 1 was close. I mean, I think maybe we could actually all the games were close except game 1 maybe. I'd like this to become a thing. I want someone to drag Jokic into a feud because he's so resistant and so reluctant on everything. He's, just out Mr. Horses and not paying attention to anything. Someone's got to drag Jokic into a feud. Why not the Lakers?
That's not my preferred rivalry. You want to see the Lakers Nuggets be I guess it'd make the Nuggets more interesting to have the Lakers involved. But you'd rather have, if I could give you a Western Conference Finals, which would you rather watch? Lakers Suns or Lakers Nuggets?
Well, now Lakers Nuggets because they were calling Mike Malone was the Lakers daddy. So I'm in now.
You don't want to see Kevin Durant and LeBron James battling for legacy? Devin Booker, the next superstar? Come on. The Lakers Nuggets? We saw that. It was terrible.
Bogues, what else you got?
Well, at least the Lakers Nuggets would have like a little tiny bit of juice. Tyler Hero's vengeance tour against the Blazers is a waste of time. And 2 random meetings at a conference. At least they're going to play 4 times, maybe in the postseason. They're both good teams. They're at least something.
You're discounting the Miami-Portland rivalry through the years?
I am, for now. Yeah, for now.
I know. That's basically like Celtics-Lakers. How could you have you just glossed that so much?
This is the usual cycle, right? The main guys don't show up for the second-level events like this summer's FIBA World Cup. The U.S. doesn't win, so the big guns recommit for the next Olympics. Media day yesterday, Steph, KD, other guys say they'll play in Paris next summer. Joel Embiid will be there as well, but he hasn't picked his country yet. He's choosing between the U.S., France, and Cameroon. His final call comes in the next few days, apparently.
Wait, I thought he was leaning U.S. I thought that's what he said yesterday.
Did he say leaning U.S.? I know he said he had not made up his mind yet.
Okay, well, maybe I just assumed. I was actually thinking about this. It's going to be hard to make that team because if Embiid goes to the U.S. and all these old superstars Curry wants to play, I mean, there's going to be some tough cuts.
Isn't that always how it is, though, with the USA?
They've kind of changed it. It used to be you had to try out under the Colangelo and Coach K era, and now it's kind of just been, we kind of just pick the guys we want, and that's it. But I think there should be a training camp. This should be, as Perloff's saying, like a competition, because there's going to be a lot of talent on this team. All these guys are committing. I'm like, I don't know if you're even going to make the team.
Yeah, I mean, is anyone going to be even healthy enough to play in some of these? Again, I bring up Kevin Durant and guys like, LeBron, he's already got all these gold medals, right? Does everyone just want to go to Paris?
He might be the leader of rallying all these guys for one more time together.
The other thing about this, too, a lot of people don't realize is this is a huge marketing campaign for all these players who have signature shoes, signature brands. So everybody kind of says, World Cup, whatever, but Olympics, you want to get your name and your brand out there. So that's why these guys, regardless of how old they are, regardless of how many gold medals they've won, they'll always be involved, because oftentimes Nike and Adidas are telling them, hey, you need to make sure you're there.
But this team would be interesting because they'll be old. The Dream Team in '92 was dunking on everyone's head. I mean, half these guys are going to be 40 years old. It's going to be like my rec league on the weekend.
The Dream Team had Magic and Larry Bird.
Right, I know, but those guys were more symbolic. Larry Bird was hurt at the time. It was really then those guys played a little bit. Then Charles Barkley came out in full Barkley mode and dunked on everybody.
And Michael. I also, EJ, I don't think it's just about the shoe companies. Don't forget there's a couple LeBron James future documentaries that could be hiding in this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
There's who knows what they'll try to milk this for. And also like love of country. I get that.
Okay.
Sure.
Would it be anti-patriotic to subtly root against this team just to see what would happen? Can you imagine LeBron and KD getting in their feelings if the team was losing? What excuses would be flying out there? It'd be amazing. I'm sorry, that's terrible, right?
No, it's so sad as an American. It is so sad when we cannot dominate in basketball. It's like, come on, guys. I was actually a production assistant in Athens, Greece. I was still in college for the debacle that was the Athens Olympics that led to the Redeem Team. It was not fun. I mean, it's cool if you're from Argentina or Puerto Rico. That was really awesome, but it was really sad state of affairs
but did
for the U.S.
We didn't even watch the last. Where was the last Summer Olympics? I don't even remember.
Tokyo.
That Tokyo basketball. Do you have one memory of that? To me, the greatest basketball moment in Olympic history was Vince Carter jumping over Frederick Weiss, which the anniversary of was the other day. It is the greatest dunk probably in basketball history, and it's definitely the greatest moment in Olympic history.
I mean, it's a great dunk, but the greatest moment was U.S. closing out Spain in the gold medal game in 2008 where Kobe Bryant hits the back-to-back threes.
Oh, get out of here.
That's
just your era.
No, you're such a baby. Dream Team will be next.
No, I'm talking about the greatest moment, not talking about team.
Yeah.
But, that was huge. That we thought we may lose that game, and they had just lost the year before.
The one thing about that game, that would led to the Redeem Team, and Kobe won the game. The one problem was that game was on at 4:00 in the morning, which now is like the afternoon for us here on the CBS Sports Radio morning show. But at the time, that was nighttime for us.
But it's so sad that you need Kobe to come in and save that team. To me, it was, I don't know, the Dream Team is definitely the apex. The fact that they had to set a hard pit, Kobe had to do a dirty foul on Pau Gasol to win that
team
tournament.
Was loaded. Are you serious?
But the Dream Team won every game by 35 points.
Yeah, no, the Dream Team was historic.
Steamrolled.
The Redeem Team was somewhat manufactured. The fact that they had to struggle a little bit, to me, I guess the competition did get a lot better between 1992 and 2008. So is there any real competition for this? You know what would make this team the most interesting? And I know he's available. Get James Harden on this American team and see what happens. And keep him out there the whole time.
He'll ask to get traded to Angola.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be amazing to have Harden?
Can you ask for a trade when you're playing on international competition?
I mean, does he make the team? He was a former MVP. Does he have a chance?
He does not make the team.
No. And I think that there's a whole deal with the U.S. team being sponsored by Nike as well. Adidas guys have complained about this, so there's no way James Harden makes a team at 34 years old.
Put in Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Basically.
Melo comes back.
Our best exports.
Melo's a great Olympic player. He's not that old.
Get D Wade in there.
You just said Steph Curry, LeBron, Durant. These guys are the same age as Melo. I mean, LeBron was in Melo's draft.
I know, but he's LeBron. Bogues, what else we got here this morning?
Some bad injury news for the Brewers ahead of the wild card round with Arizona. Starter Brandon Woodruff, he's out for the series at least with a shoulder injury. Here's his rotation mate, Corbin Burns.
We've got plenty of depth in the starting rotation, so we've got guys that will be able to step in and give us the best, a good chance to win. So that's what's going to happen. That's what we're going to do.
And it is Burns that starts game 1 with the D-backs at 7 Eastern today. That's game 3 of a quadruple header. Rangers, Rays, Blue Jays, Twins. Before it, the Marlins play at 8 Eastern. And just to remind you, Phil Nevin is out as Angels manager, but the Yankees are expected to retain Aaron Boone. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thank you so much getting us caught up on all the headlines. Yes, sir?
That's right. The Yankees are retaining Aaron Boone. I haven't followed closely.
Yeah.
How?
Why?
Why?
They can't quit this guy.
I thought he was in big trouble.
Well, people would like you to believe that he's in big trouble, but when you execute the marching orders so well for the front office, why would they ever change from you?
And why is the front office still there? Aren't they in trouble too?
Do you
I
not
think that's
understand?
the bigger issue.
Yeah, do you not understand Brian Cashman is an honorary Steinbrenner? I mean, he's like Tom in The Godfather.
He's got
not
a lifetime contract.
He's not blood, but he's in the family.
Well, eventually they let Tom go. Remember, Tom was out.
No, but they can't. They pulled him back in.
They did come back in
Yeah.
technically. Yeah.
It's a perfect analogy. Although I don't think that the Steinbrenners are actually running any kind of organized crime.
Yeah.
It's mostly just owning the Yankees.
By the way, if they were,
they'd be terrible at
then
it.
Aaron Boone would be somewhere in the Meadowlands right now, dead.
Jimmy Hoffa.
I mean, look at the concession stand prices. Maybe they were running some organized
Yes,
crime.
they are robbing somebody. It's
Yeah.
just you and I. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. They got a little dark there on the Yankees.
By the way, I like Aaron Boone. I'm not calling for the assassination.
No. We want everybody to live. 855-212-4CBS. Didn't mean for that to get so dark on the Yankees. Aaron Boone has never really done anything besides have the audacity to miss the playoffs when his best player missed 2.5 months.
Whatever. You're the one who brought Brian Cashman as Tom Hagen into the picture.
But it's the perfect analogy.
Yeah, but Don Corleone, a.k.a. George Steinbrenner, is dead. So is the family even the family anymore?
Yeah, I don't think Michael and Hal have much in common. Michael Corleone and Hal.
Hal should be like
Steinbrenner.
Michael. Maybe the Yankees would still be playing right now if he was more like Michael Corleone.
He doesn't have that same, what am I looking for?
Punch.
Thank you. 855-212-4CBS. So much left to do, including an update on the most interesting quarterback in the NFL. We get to that in moments. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff with the new morning show on CBS Sports Radio. So glad to have you. Got a lot to do here. Let's get to the most interesting quarterback in the NFL.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Not sure. We know on Sunday, Perloff, that he was at MetLife Stadium watching the Jets lose to the Chiefs.
Yep.
His teammate, Alan Lazard, was asked about whether Rodgers came in and talked to the team at all. Here's what he said.
He just came into the team room like Batman, honestly. And it was just kind of a Hollywood-esque moment of just like Aaron Rodgers, you know, appearing, walking. I thought he was about to fly, honestly.
That's actually fitting because this entire Jets Aaron Rodgers thing is fantasy. More likely to win a Super Bowl in a movie than actually on a football field. I kind of like it.
So that is what Aaron Rodgers is up to, apparently swooping in like Batman into the team room. Now, there might be a real tangible, positive thing of having him around the team, right? Like, maybe guys act a little bit more professionally. Maybe they're not pointing fingers as much. Maybe Zach Wilson feels like he's got to play better because he doesn't want to let Aaron Rodgers down. I have no idea, but I think that Rodgers is going to be around the team a lot. So get ready for more Aaron Rodgers in your face.
I heard people giving Aaron Rodgers credit for keeping that game close the other day. Like, that's what we're doing now? Really? Like, everyone's bending over so backwards to find positives in losses these days. I'm old school. All I care about is the win or the loss. Like Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to run into the end zone at the end of the game. I'm going to slide for my team. Aaron Rodgers, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it because I'm tired and loose here. Deion and Aaron Rodgers are the two most overhyped stories of the last 25 years.
Wait a minute.
Get out of here.
Come on.
Deion Sanders is a big story. And I think that he's going to be the biggest thing in college football, probably.
Also, I think deserving of the hype. I mean, Colorado was dead as a doornail, and then Deion comes back in, breathes life into it. You have maybe a Heisman Trophy candidate and his son. You've got all these fun players to watch. It's like the most watched college football games over the weekend. Maybe not this weekend against Arizona State, but it's been awesome with Deion.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers takes a lot of psychedelic drugs. Seems like he's microdosing all the time.
Has a cool mustache.
Probably would have been a factor with the Jets this year.
Okay.
And now rehabbing from an Achilles.
Okay, forget Deion. Deion is awesome, and I understand. But Deion, you said is the what did you say? The best story in
I
college?
think he's going to be the Deion phenomenon is the biggest thing in college football right now. I think that Deion, wherever his next stop is, or whenever he gets his Colorado thing figured out, will be the biggest thing in college football. That's happening.
The biggest thing in college football should be the team that wins the national title.
Deion will win national titles.
Okay, see, that is the bar you're setting for Deion. So that's the problem.
5 years?
Because you're saying he's the best thing in college.
School?
He's the best thing in college football now, but they might be a 7-4 team. So that's just a little. That's why I pointed to the overhype. And I'm sorry, like I do love the Deion story, but I do think if they're 7-4 and Georgia three-peats, then Georgia is underhyped and Deion is overhyped by definition of the win-loss record.
I just feel to me that the Deion thing is so inevitable to me because kids are seeing what's happening over at Colorado. They're seeing these celebrities. They're seeing the primetime games. They're seeing all the excitement. As we've seen, like, if you get the best players every year, you're probably going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
The thought that, like, Deion is not going to have top 5 recruiting classes in the next few years, like that's just a lock. That's automatic. So once you get that, now it's just about finding the right coordinators to call the right plays. I think they might have to get rid of the defensive coordinator.
Their offensive coordinator is awesome.
Yeah, offensive coordinator is great. Defensive coordinator, I can maybe see him go out the door.
All right, that's Deion. Let me just paint this real quick picture of Aaron Rodgers and where we're at right now. The Jets lose 23-20, should have been 30-20. They lose a game on Sunday night, and we're comparing their injured quarterback to Batman in the locker room, saying, I think he can fly. The dude can't even walk 8 feet. And this is the level of hype. He's coming back next year as a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles, and everyone's going to worship Aaron Rodgers. You have to realize this is not a great quarterback situation.
Okay, they were a 1-score game with the Chiefs. Probably should have been a 2-score.
And that counts for what?
And if Aaron Rodgers had been there, that would have been a great game. I think that what the Jets have shown so far this year, or what they showed more in the Chiefs game, there's been some ugly games. Like, Rodgers chose right. They actually do have the bones of a good team. And if he was there and not Zach Wilson, maybe this is actually a Super Bowl contender. I mean,
what are we talking about? This is a 1-3 Jets team.
But with
again,
Rodgers,
Batman is it's fiction. This is not happening. It's not happening this year. It's never going to happen.
I think the Rodgers thing, I'll be honest, when I heard this quote from Lazard, I rolled my eyes because at this point, like, Jets fans, we're over this thing. Like, we get it. Aaron Rodgers is on the team. He's your teammate. Like, you just lost a game. Why are you still lamenting about, I can't believe Aaron Rodgers is here. Oh, my God, he's Batman. Like, come on. Like, get over it. You're 1-3. You just let a game slip out of your fingers because your defense couldn't get off the field for 7 minutes, and you're still being like, well, at least Batman showed up before the game. How great was that? Like, that was ridiculous. So I'm with you on the Aaron Rodgers side, not on Deion. But, yeah, just the Jets alone, that's probably the thing that upsets me the most. The Jets continue to buy an Aaron Rodgers hype that doesn't exist anymore. He's not playing.
Oh, EJ. It still exists. He's doing weekly interviews. He's commenting on everything around the league. You think you can run from Aaron Rodgers? He will hunt you down and put you in his ayahuasca sphere.
EJ, keep something in mind about Maggie. Maggie is convinced the Bills are going to be on the brink of Super Bowl, her Buffalo Bills, and Tom Brady's going to come out of retirement and play
Rodgers.
for whatever team she's going against. She has these football bad guys in her mind that will never go away. Belichick, Brady, Rodgers, doesn't matter if they're on the field. They're still coming back and they're going to beat her team.
I'm rooting for whatever weird thing comes out of Aaron Rodgers' mouth. That's what I'm rooting for. He's talking about dolphins mating. I'm here for all of it. I want to hear about all of the drug trips and the
that's all good.
The darkness retreats.
But don't mistake Aaron Rodgers being super interesting with actual wins on a football field. If the Jets are 3-14, then we're not going to be comparing him to Batman, are we?
I don't know.
The Jets will be because they're in this. They're in this Rodgers malaise. I think that's why they've played so poorly too. Like they're a bad team, but I think some of this is this kind of
the letdown.
Yeah, they're a letdown. They're kind of like, well, we had our savior, now he's not here. Like calling them Batman. Like, what are you talking about, Lazard? Come on.
Well, because Lazard, I don't know if he has Rodgers to thank for having this job
sure
with
does.
the Jets, but I think he's Batman to Alan Lazard.
That's the other thing. He played with Aaron Rodgers already. Like, I almost understand maybe a little bit if this was Sauce or Garrett Wilson, but this is a guy who spent his entire career with Aaron Rodgers. How is he still mesmerized that Aaron Rodgers is on a football roster? Like, how is that even a thing?
By the way, Zach Wilson is very Robin, though. I can totally see if somebody called Zach Wilson Robin, that makes sense.
Don't call him Dick Grayson. That's my favorite Robin. He'd be the worst Robin. He's Jason Todd, okay? He's the Robin that gets killed by Joker with a crowbar.
I forgot that EJ actually knows about all this comic book stuff.
Yeah.
There's
I was like,
different
Chris
Robins?
O'Donnell?
Oh, my God. I'm doing this again. I did this with Bogus last week. So there's like 6 or 7 Robins. And one
What
of
about
them,
Chris O'Donnell?
Chris O'Donnell, he was Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
He was the first Robin. And then there are several other Robins. There's Jason Todd. There's Batman's son, Damian Wayne. There's Tim Drake. There are a couple female Robins, Stephanie Brown. Like
There's Lego Robin in the Lego Batman movie, which is hysterical.
Yes, and that's also Dick Grayson. That's another one of the Robins. But yeah,
There's the former BYU quarterback who's currently playing for the New York Jets, Zach Wilson, who's got
Robin.
a lot of Robins.
Well, the real question of that is who's the best Joker? That's the
Oh.
big question.
I've got a controversial take on this.
I have a very strong.
Please don't say Jared Leto.
No, mine is Jack Nicholson.
I agree.
Oh, Pilati, yes.
Well,
I knew we were on the same page.
With Cesar Romero second.
What about River Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, does that count as a Joker because he wasn't against a Batman?
I mean, he's got to count, but it's almost like
that was one of the great
I thought
performances.
Heath Ledger is kind of known to be the
yeah,
best.
Heath Ledger's my guy still.
But I don't think people consider Phoenix in that, because there was no Batman in that movie, but that was a brilliant performance.
Yeah, it's almost like because that was like an origin. It's like he didn't become Joker until like the very end. I almost kind of put him in a different category.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people are going Cesar Romero there.
It was that the old Batman from the '60s is just great comedy.
It's the after school special of after school cartoons. Basically,
I showed my son it. He loved it.
I
3 years
know.
old.
I can predict 1,000% who Maggie's favorite Batman is. I know for certain.
I basically just gave it away.
It's definitely Michael Keaton.
110%. Let's get to our shot of the day, shall we?
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. The shot of the day coincides with our show announcement, Perloff paying off a big bet on Friday. Perloff said yesterday he's worried about drowning, suffocating.
Well, I have
what were
no
you talking
hands.
about?
I have no
waterboarded
hands.
by chili? How's that going to happen?
Death by
Asphyxiated by Skyline Chili. Because what if it gets in my nose and blocks my breathing, whatever?
Yeah, then just take your face out of it for a second
just
and
lean
breathe.
back.
I'm not going to be like there shoving your face in it like I'm dunking
your
in
head
the
in it.
toilet. Yeah.
Giving him a Skyline swirly.
Yeah, right. Perloff is going to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands on Friday.
What is the medical situation? Are we going to have an ambulance at call or something?
Yeah, it's called 911. We'll call them if we need you.
So you dial 911
Yeah.
and get ready to hit the third one.
Let's go to Mo's quickly in San Diego. Hi, Mo.
Hi, I'm Mo. I like Maggie and Perloff, but they started to go to the morning, so I had to wake up early, and I'm tired, but I'm here to talk.
Mo, you're the best.
Thanks, buddy.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I got a reprieve. I thought y'all were only 3 hours, and I was like, dude, there's no way I'm getting up before 6 o'clock. But 7 I might be able to do.
Love it. Thanks for the commitment. You're the best. What's on your mind?
I was just picking up with you guys about the game last night with Danny Danny Nichols over there.
Yeah.
The thing with that guy is, and I'm not a Giants fan, I'm a Cowboys fan. So, but I'm scouting. I'm always scouting, right? So, he needs so much help around him. It's crazy, and that's why you can't pay him. It's not that he doesn't. I mean, quarterbacks got to make their money, but when you pay him, if it takes away from anything on your roster, it's a killer because he just needs so many things like that. Like when they made that fourth down conversion, I wanted them to kick the field goal if I'm a Giants fan, because I'd rather see them get the points. He ended up doing the pick six, and it went against them. And I understand they were trying to score, but to me, kick the field goal, make it 14-6 because you're one score down in the third quarter, because that's just what how they play.
I know.
That's the best you're going to get out of him.
It's crazy, too. And sorry, we're up against it, but thank you so much. Thank you for getting up with us. And it's funny because last year, Daniel Jones got paid off of 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions passing. And they're like, he just needs more weapons. Meanwhile, Darren Waller's out there and you don't even pass him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one trick. He can run and that's it. Yeah, it's bad.
Thank you to EJ Stewart. Thank you to Pete Pilati. Thank you to Andrew Bogish, to the Weedos and coffee drinkers, to the callers. You guys are awesome. We will see you tomorrow bright and early on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.